Clouds, not too bad, Jen. And actually looking down here at the start line, would you be wanting to go out there?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks absolutely perfect, doesn't it? It's not too hot, which is ideal as a rider. You don't want to be getting too hot. So, yeah, perfect conditions, I think.
That sun could be an issue tonight, though, with the strobing effect that we have mentioned as you go throughout the week. Let's give you the board nice and early. Damp Patches, the exit of Braddon, exit of Glen Helen, Ramsey Hairpin, Governor's Dip, and Breezy up on the mountain. That's the course and the board. Let's get a run through what's happening this evening. Chris Boyd's got all the details in the tower.
Yeah, we weren't ready for that. As we say, it's going to be Superbikes and Super Stock session. So if we look back to Monday, if I can find the right chart, on Monday, it was Michael Dunlop who led the way on the Superbikes, 129.59 miles an hour on the Hawk machine. Of course, he's got both machines here with the 2023 spec and 2024 bikes. It was the 2024 bike that I think he did the 129.59 on. Second fastest on the day was Davy. Todd in the Superbikes, 129.575, literally a hair's breadth behind Dunlop. Third, Peter Hickman. Fourth, John McGuinness. And fifth, Jamie Coward. And in the Super Stocks, it was Peter Hickman who was fastest, 129.032. Second fastest was Michael Dunlop, 128.87. It's the same names, isn't it? Well, Dominic Herbertson, though, got into third on the Super Stocks on Monday in the opening qualifying session, 127.54. Then James Hillier, Jamie Coward, and sixth, I can't remember. David Johnson was sixth fastest, wasn't he, in the Super Stock? So those are the top sixes that we're looking at going into tonight. By Wednesday last year, Lee, we were up into the 133.5s.
That is incredible. Yeah, obviously you were spoiled by the weather, but even at that fact, it's not that long ago that was the outright lap record, and to do that on a Wednesday after 3 days riding, so you're probably talking on average maybe 6, 12, 18 laps at maximum. And people that do 18 laps around a short circuit track is like, that's even impressive. But for a track of this length, it just shows you the caliber and all the work that the guys and teams do outside of the event before they even get to the event to be able to jump on the wheels rolling and ready to do these times.
Incredible. By the Wednesday last, we'd had such a perfect early part of the TT that the guys were saying they were ready to race by Wednesday.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times this week. Obviously, I wasn't here to comment on that, but a few of the guys said definitely by Thursday they were obviously thinking of things that need to do, because you sort of riding a track like this is a compromise. In the bike, you're always thinking it wants to be better in one point for the other, so you change something for the smoother parts, and that takes away from Ginger Hall to Ramsey. But even with the amount of laps they got, they were ready to race, and almost you're just circulating for the sake of it, and that's just more risk factor, more wear on the bikes, more risk of wrecking down. So all these things are added up, and I don't know what the retirement rate was last year. If it was higher for that reason, it would be understandable. You know, obviously people don't come here expecting to do that amount of mileage on engines, and smaller funded teams maybe didn't have spare engines to chuck in after practice week like the bigger teams do. And there's a lot of factors that people sitting on the hedgerows don't get to think about.
Absolutely. We were talking about the battering that the bodies take. Beth Espy has somebody who is there to help with all that, Beth.
I certainly do. And with Emma, who's the lead for the therapy team down here. So Emma, what sort of things are you doing?
So we run a clinic here for all of the racers where we do a lot of preventative work and look obviously at TT-acquired injuries as well. Then here in Parc Ferme, we've got Isla Scott, who's our consultant physio, and we do hand taping, so it's to prevent blisters. It's a technique that's actually brought over from the World Superbikes, and we've modified it for the TT racers here. We used to find that the racers used to have a lot of blisters, and since bringing it into the paddock, we just don't see that anymore.
And who is able to come up here and get this done?
So all of the races, it's completely free service for all of the races competing here at the Isle of Man TT.
And we've got Paul Jordan just coming up to have his hands strapped up. Sometimes the other thing that you see is people having tape all up their arm. What's that for?
Yeah, so that's for arm pump. So it's when the boys are racing, there's a lot of forces obviously going through the bikes, which can increase the amount of sort of blood pooling within the forearms. So again, a fantastic technique that Isla actually completely developed here at the Isle of Man TT, whereby we use sport tape or kinesio tape, and it just helps lift the skin and helps the blood flow, and obviously helps that prevention of the arm pump developing.
I think anything that can help riders get around here, we know it's a grueling course, and the physicality of it really does take its toll.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the safety is absolute paramount, and that's what really drives and the team here. We've got a team of 9 therapists, 8 physios and a massage therapist as well. And we come over every year for the fortnight from all over the UK.
Wonderful. Emma, great to talk to you. Paul Jordan, having your hands strapped up, what difference does this make to you as a rider?
Oh, it just makes it a bit more comfortable when we're on the bike, from gripping that much. But yeah, it's definitely beneficial, and the girls do an amazing job.
And what are you planning for tonight?
2 laps on the big bike, 2 laps Super Sport, 1 lap on the twin. All been well.
Have a good one. Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, 124.849 for Paul on the Superbike, and the new team for him, the Jackson Racing team. He ran Yamahas the year before, and the Jackson Racing team, we know they're proven, Jenny Timmis, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, they're a fantastic team. They've got lead crew chief in there. He knows what he's doing. And the team's so well established, aren't they, in road racing? They run a proper good setup there. They've even got carbon fibre parts trays, which I'm very jealous of.
Carbon fibre parts trays?
Yeah, it's proper posh. They've got a really good setup. Obviously, they're running the new Hondas as well. So they're on the 2024 Honda, sorry. And the CBR6s as well are brand new. So, yeah, be interesting to see how they get on.
How closely do you follow what happens in BSB, Jen? Do you still go? Do you still get involved?
Yeah, as much as I can, because I absolutely love it. So yeah, I do keep an eye on it, and I love BSB. So it's been great to watch all the road racers basically getting all their prep done at BSB. It's kind of a known thing now that you need to cut your teeth there, don't you, to come here and get your season underway by prepping at BSB Championship. So I definitely keep an eye on it.
All right, wonder what the plan's going to be tonight for most of them. Superbike, because don't forget, like Chris Boyd just said there in the tower, 133.5 at this point. Wednesday, is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. We've only had, I don't know, Beth, we've only had one session. You just kind of forget what kind of day we're on, don't we? It's been a long week so far, certainly has. But I can report from the ground here, it's quite chilled, it's quite relaxed, isn't it? Everybody's just chilling, I think.
It's interesting, though, what you say. Yeah. I mean, it is Wednesday, and we always say this every year, but it goes so quickly, Patrick, doesn't it? You kind of think, I've got loads of time, but then it suddenly it steps up a gear.
Yeah, it does. And, you only need to lose one night of practice through weather. And then if you have a mechanical the following night, you've lost like 2/5 of your practice time. So it soon can get away with you, even though you start at the beginning of the week thinking we've got all week to go. It can go away from you before you even know anything about it.
What are you thinking now, Patrick, from a sidecar standpoint now? A lot of the guys, you only get to come here once a year. These guys on the solos, they can come back at the Manx Grand Prix, and a lot of them can have a race as well. So these guys, your guys, the sidecar guys, you need more track time than anybody else, don't you?
Yeah, they do. I mean, I don't know if it needed more track time, but they can't afford to lose the time, because the guys, if they have the breakdown and they manage to get back, they can get out on other bikes and test other things. But with the sidecars, you've got 40 minutes. I mean, if you get out first and you're putting 114 mile an hour lappage, you can sort of get 3 laps in at a push, but you generally can only get 2 laps in on a night. So by the end of practice week, you get 10 laps. And if you lose a day with weather and you lose a night with a mechanical, you're like down to 6 laps before you head down Bray on the race. One
question I'm going to ask you a bit later on when we get to the sidecars, obviously if you're going up in the tower with Chris there, is about what happens at the end of every session. You just think about that for a little bit later on. After the session finishes, get the outfit back down there. You don't have a team of factory technicians chucking over the bike, you guys, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. Someone wants to know. Peter Hickman is here, ready to go. Davy Todd is just meandered out, as he kind of does. Ian Hutchinson just gone past us there now on the Malenko by Paget's. Leather's looking pretty smart. Michael Dunlop, you got to say, Jenny Timothy, looking rather relaxed, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks seriously relaxed, and he just had a chat there with John McGuinness just before, and yeah, he looks calm, cool, and collected, doesn't he?
Doesn't seem to be having any problems with his hand like he was having at the Northwest, does he? Well, doesn't seem to anyway. You've not seen him stretching it or any ice bags or anything?
No, it's definitely causing him some trouble at the Northwest when he came in. We've seen him in Park Ferme just with an ice pack straight on that hand, and haven't seen any of that here at TT. Whether he's getting physio on it, I'm sure he is, in downtime, so to speak, but it doesn't seem to be bothering him as much as it did there.
Did you ride with any injuries and you just got on with it?
Yeah, you do as a rider, and the worst thing about an injury is waiting to get over the injury so you can get back on your bike. So if you can ride with an injury as a racer, you do. I think we're a bit bonkers, but yeah, definitely.
It's like Hickey was saying, wasn't he, Pat France, about he's not just got bruises, he's got bruised bones.
Yeah, bruising on the bone,
must
so
hurt.
it will hurt, and it'll take longer to heal. You know, like a bruise. If you have a bruise on a muscle or the skin, it sort of comes out, and but with bruising on the bone, it's going to take a long while to heal.
Which would you say, Jenny Timworth, would be the part of your body now, if we were having, like, this is our third practice session, that your body's saying, stop doing this, this is really hurting me? What part of your body affects you the most around here?
For me personally, it was the back of my shoulders. So you don't realise, especially because you're just hanging on for all you can, and you see lots of the riders having their hands taped up because you get blisters because you're gripping onto the bars that tight. But it also affects your shoulders. So if you can have like a shoulder massage afterwards, it's absolutely perfect. But you don't believe how much pain you can have in your shoulder blades.
Dave O'Johnson said that on the first night, didn't he? Said if he came in after he did a couple of laps, he had to tell himself to stop gripping so hard.
Yeah, you do. I think it's an instinctive thing, isn't it? You grip on and grip on. And one of the instructions from Milky Quail actually is to take a breath when you get opportunity, because you forget to breathe as well. You know, when you get opportunity, to tell yourself to take a breath and relax and relax. It's any opportunity you get, any bit of a straight or any in between a couple of corners, you know, just to get a breath, because you do cling on really hard.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jen. So we are about a minute or so away from the start of this evening session. Qualifying 2s, that is. It should be qualifying 3. A minute and 10 away from the start. Let's go to the tower. Chris Boyd.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, we can see Dean Harrison has rolled up into the no man's land. He's first away going to be tonight, and well, he's got some work. I think he's on the Superbike. He is indeed. He was only 7th fastest on Monday in that opening qualifying, 125.909. We heard last night that he had made a load of changes that he was planning to try and get out on. Obviously last night's session was then abandoned, so presumably those changes are still on the bike tonight, and we'll wait for him to go next. It looks like Jamie Coward will be second away. He will be out on his super stock, it would seem, from here, which is the KTS Racing, powered by Steadplan Group Honda. And where is he on the super stock? So Jamie Coward, he's 5th fastest on Monday, 127.321. So around about 20 seconds or so before we get this session underway. We can see Dean has the starter. Mark Pendle will be right alongside him. Mark hasn't moved into position yet to give him the tap on the shoulder, but we've only got potentially 10 seconds or so to go before we get there. We go. We move into position. The hand is on the shoulder. We're about to get qualifying 2 underway. 3, 2, 1. Tap on the shoulder. Here goes Dean. Not hanging around at all. Jamie Coward next away. James Hillier going away 3rd on his super stock machine as well, as we'll get back down to Chris Kinley to take them off the line.
Milenko Padgett's Honda is next, the number 4 machine of Ian Hutchinson. Super stock this time, though. The red plates with the white number background. Number 8 is next to go on his Superbike machine, the Milwaukee BMW. Right behind him is Josh Brooks, the Milwaukee BMW. Davy Todd is on. Listen. Oh, he means business. Number 7 is next. It's the Superbike, and that is Josh Brooks. Hopefully no feathered friends around him this evening. John McGuinness, number 1 next. He's on the Superbike, so we'll keep a little note of who's on what. He's on the Honda Factory 2024 model. That sounds mega, doesn't it? 15 is next. Rob Hodgson. Rob on the SMT machine. He's on the Superstock numbers anyway this time, and Rob is away. 14 is next, Michael Rutter. Now, Michael is on the Superbike. Let's have a little look. Yeah, Michael with those front wings on the S1000 RRM version away. Oh, just with a problem with Michael. The thing's just stopped. He said he was having a few electronic problems with it last night when I spoke to him. But Craig Neve, number 9, is next to go. Craig is on the Superbike. Just keep a little eye out down there. I think Michael's just cut across to the left-hand side. So, yeah, Michael's okay. Not sure if he's gone yet. No, he's Dave O'Johnson. Looks like Michael Rutter is coming in the turn road. He is. I can just see him returning down there. So problems for Michael Rutter. But here's Hickman. Superbike for Hickey and away. On the Monster by FHR. Keep an eye on this one. Chris Boyd up there. Also on the Superbike. Let's have a little look. 24 version. 24 version, you think, Jen? What do you reckon? Yes, no? Don't know. Couldn't really tell. 19 is next. He's going well. Phil Crow. He's on the Superstock bike this time. 124.5 for him. Number 20 is next. That's Mike Brown on the Aprilia. He's done 125.6 103.2 as Mike. Mike is away on the Stocker. 18 is next, Sean Anderson, 119.4 for Sean. He's on the 18-plated GSXR 1000 Suzuki. 16 is next, Dominic Herbertson. Hasn't got a lap in on the Superbike yet, but Dom out on that now, and so we can get one this evening. 11, Connor Cummins, 122.2 for Connor the other day. He's on the Malenko by Padgett Superbike CBR Honda. 24 is next to go. That's Julian Trummer, 21st quickest so far. Oh, a problem for Connor as well, I think. He's just had to pull into the side as well. So Connor with a problem. He's pulled the Malenko by Padgett's bike in at the end of the return road as Julian Trummer, who's just about to get away, he goes now. And that's Paul Jordan as well. Paul Jordan goes. This young man showed very well the other night, didn't he? James Hind at 125.83 on the Suzuki, built by, I'm led to believe, Guy Martin. Next to go is Sam West. Had a bit of a tip off the other night, did Sam? Hopefully all okay. He's back out on the bike tonight. Number 26 bike. He's on the BMW. 25, another one of the factory Hondas. It's Nathan Harrison this time, and it's the Superstock version, and he's away. 32 is next to go. Gives it the thumbs up. 118.293. Forrest Dunn on the 32 plated BMW. 31 is next to go. Stefano Benetti. No time on the card yet for Stefano on the Superbike, and that's what he's on this evening. Good to see this lad back again. Matt Stevenson, 122.06 for him. The other night he's on the Dafabet Kawasaki. 23 is next to go. Another big guy. That is Brian McCormack. Listen to this. And he's away. Number 30 is next to go. That's Alan Vender or AJ. 118.25. That launch to control. Hear them using the launch control there. Absolutely brilliant. Mark Goodings, number 40 is next. He's 118.67 for Mark on the LMT Motorsport Kawasaki. Michael Sweeney is next to go. Michael only did 103 laps the other night. He's struggling. And I'll tell you why he struggled after he left. Michael had to stop because he needed to go to the gentleman's room. Listen, it's a man of a certain age. You've got to do it. Here's Marcus Simpson. Marcus away at number 37. 27 is next. That's David Datzer. No time for David out on the Superbike. He's out on the Superstock this time. David away. Big wheelie for Davy off the line. 39 is next to go. I love the old ZXR 750 colour scheme. It's Timothy Minot, 117.16 for Tim. 36 is next to go. Great to see this guy riding once more. That, of course, it's a 36 to 38. Just trying to check that out, actually. 36. Yeah, it is 36. That, of course, is Trevor. No, it's not. It's Jonathan Gotsky. Wrong leathers. Anyway, Mark Parrott is next. 35 on the Stocker. I think Mark won't mind me calling him a veteran, the former Senior Manx Grand Prix winner. 29 is next to go on the AGR Motorsport machine. That's a multiple centre champion here on the Isle of Man. Ryan Kringle is away. 59 is next to go on the Superstock machine. 59 is, of course, Joey Thompson, or Joey Yorkshire Thompson on the R1 Yamaha. 34 is next, Mike Russell. That sounds mint, doesn't it? The Kawasaki away. 41 is next to go. 41, of course, is Chalky. That is James Chalk. 118.81 for Chalky the other night. 43 is next to go. 43, I think that is Elmerick Blank. It is. 121.561 for Elmerick Blank. Elmerick away. Take this last one away. He did a pretty good lap last night. 122.716 for Anthony Redman at number 53. He's in 20th position. Leader's going to be at Glen Helen and probably through it.
Through indeed, and it wasn't Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison first away from here on the Superbike, but he'd been overhauled by Glen Helen by both Jamie Coward and James Hillier on the Superstocks. It's Davy Todd who is fastest as far as Glen Helen. He's there in a 4:18.1. The other day, Peter Hickman was there in 4:25, and Michael Dunlop on his 4:24 spec, Superbike at 4:19, so it is quicker than the pace we had on Monday. We're up around the high 1:29 type pace at the moment. Michael Dunlop is second fastest out there. He is 4 seconds though down on Davy Todd as far as Glenn Helen, and Peter Hickman is within 0.4 of a second of Dunlop. John McGuinness is fourth fastest. Josh Brooks is fifth fastest. All of those on super bikes. So Davy Todd, Michael Dunlop, Peter Hickman, John McGuinness, and Josh Brooks all on super bikes. Jamie Coward is the fastest of the super stocks. He's out through Glenn Helen in a 4:27. James Hillier is also a 4:27, only 0.3 of a second between them. Then Sean Anderson is through next fastest as we move on, because I think we may already be getting riders up towards Balaf. No, maybe not just yet. There we are, in fact. Jamie Coward first on the road out to Balaf on the Steadplan Group KTS Racing Honda. He's Jamie Coward. Hillier, in fact, goes quicker than him. Hillier 2.3 seconds quicker than Coward as Davy Todd gets there. And now we'll have to wait for Michael Dunlop, Peter Hickman and co to arrive to get a formulated idea of the times on this. But Todd is through Balaf safely. His time out to Balaf is a 7:24. Where were we the other day? We were on a 7:30, so we are considerably quicker here, Lee.
Yeah, we're just looking at Dean Harrison. He had a really steady first sector, which is not like him. Sorry, he was 32 seconds back from Davy Todd. He seems to have got going a little bit more in the second sector. He's only 2.5 seconds back. So whether that's just him getting used to the adjustments that they've made to the bike, or there was a slight issue or something he's not comfortable with, but yeah, he definitely picked it up in the second sector.
Absolutely, he did. So we're just waiting on Michael Dunlop and Peter Hickman to arrive at Balaf, and we'll get a formulated idea of where we are. Let's just see now. Neither of them are showing us through Balaf just yet. So it is Todd from Brooks from McGuinness that we're seeing in the Superbike class on the way to Balaf. As far as Balaf, and it is Hillier from Coward from Rob Hodson on the super stocks. But obviously lots of these guys are going to be using their super stock machine in the Superbike race as well, so we need to really look at the overall picture, I think, don't we, Lee?
Yeah, for anybody out there that's watching and wondering what that is, some of the smaller teams don't really want to waste financial needs on building a full-blown Superbike, so they run a super stock bike in both classes, both the super stock and Superbike. As we're watching Jamie Coward, yeah, it's a big moment on the screen there. The top of Big Arrow, and the bike bottomed out really heavily going on the entrance into the corner. I couldn't get my words out from watching it, but yeah, he got through there safely and everything. But yeah, it looked very spectacular on the screen. But yeah, going back to the fact that some guys are out there on super stock bikes, they will use the same bike for both classes. Obviously, just change the number board. So if they're out there now on the red board, that means they're in super stock qualifying, and then they'll put the whiteboard on for the Superbike class.
Michael Dunlop then has made it to Balaf, so too Peter Hickman, but it's still Davy Todd who tops the charts. 7:24.8 to Balaf for Davy Todd. Michael Dunlop is around about 5 seconds slower, 7:29.5, and that's 3 seconds quicker than Peter Hickman. Josh Brooks is fourth fastest of the Superbikes, then John McGuinness, Sean Anderson, Dave O'Johnson, and on the super stocks, James Hillier leads the way out to Balaf as we pick up Jamie Coward, in fact, isn't it? First on the road into Schoolhouse as we pick him up coming through, and then the rest of the guys follow. In fact, somebody's way offline, and it is, in fact, Dean. It's Dean, he's way offline. He seems to be, looks like he's pulling in almost, doesn't it?
It looks like he's struggling he was going on his left foot there. I don't know whether it's leaking fluid. He's looking down at his left boot there, so I don't know if he can see it or he's pulled back. Maybe just went through a damp patch on the road, but he's definitely got an engine malfunction or something, because he's cut the bike off and everything. He's just coasting to a stop at Ramsey Hereford. So really unfortunate that for Dean Harrison. They needed this time to look at them changes on the bike.
Yeah, that's more track time lost for Dean Harrison. He's pulled off at Parliament Square in Ramsey. So, yeah, really, it's not going all that well for Dean just at the moment.
Yeah, all we can hope for now is that someone can get him back in time, obviously, to get him back out again. Obviously, there's plenty of people there at Ramsey watching and something. So if somebody wants to get him on the back of a motorbike rather sharpish and try and get him back for the remaining of this practice session.
Michael Rutter about to head back out onto the course on the Batham Superbike. So he didn't get very far at all. He came straight back up the return road. Hopefully they've got it sorted. Here he goes.
Yeah, from the offset straight away, it seemed to cut out once the bike got to a certain RPM. So we'll maybe see that now once he releases the pit lane limiter. Yeah, he's off safe away this time.
We're seeing Ian Hutchinson on the Malenko by Padgett's machine go for a Ramsey hairpin, but his teammate has not gone out. Connor Cummins remains in the paddock here. He has not gone out in this part of the session.
Yeah, that's a strange call there. I don't know if there's maybe an issue down there or what we're doing. If any of the guys down in the pits right now can nip over and see if Connor's even down in the garage or if he's been seen or what the situation is.
Let's get down to Chris Kinley.
Yeah, he did go out, but Connor just pulled in exactly the same scenario as Michael Rutter. Got to the end of pit lane as Michael Jack Russell about to go out on the number 34 bike. I'm not sure where Jack's going, trying to run us over. But yeah, Connor did go out, but then pulled immediately into the return road. So he did go, but came back in.
Thank you very much. Davy Todd then is through Ramsey on the Milwaukee BMW Motorrad Superbike. And he's there. What's his time for the lap time? It's now a 10:39. Where were we the other day? We were around about a 10:47. So we are 8 seconds inside the time from the other night, which is another mile an hour. We'll be up over the 130, into the 130 and a half potentially here.
Yeah, we've just got information back that Dean Harrison's going to make his own way back. So obviously the bike's still running and everything, and maybe not a mechanical issue, but there was definitely something, or he felt something straight away because he was observant enough to look down and get off the racing line. So yeah, let's just hope he gets back out in the remainder of the session.
It's only the opening lap of this qualifying two, but Dean, what we see with Mike Brown here, Lee?
Yeah, he's just coming into, gone back a gear. The bike's squirreling under the brakes. I don't know if he's going to get stopped in time, but yeah, the engine braking's just backing in there. But yeah, we called it last or 2 nights ago and said the Aprilia wasn't handling well, but he put us right on his own commentary when he got interviewed and said he was having a great time out there.
We understand that Connor's machines are all down there ready to go, but there is no sign of Connor just at the moment. So he's presumably taken a little bit of a break after that aborted start for this lap. So Davy Todd then is laying down a bit of a benchmark. It's only the standing start lap. We'll see if he goes through for a second flying lap and we'll get a proper idea of pace maybe. But it's 10 minutes 39 as far as Ramsey for Davy Todd. That is nearly 6 seconds quicker than Michael Dunlop on the Hawk machine. Then Peter Hickman on the FHO bike is about 3.3 seconds down on Dunlop. Josh Brooks is then 7 seconds down on Hickman. Then John McGuinness, Sean Anderson and Davo Johnson on the Super Stocks. We've got the first 2 bikes through the bungalow. James Hillier and Jamie Coward both through the bungalow. It's Hillier who's quickest of the 2 of them. 40 minutes 17, about just under 3 seconds quicker than Jamie Coward. Nathan Harrington at Ramsey is third fastest of the Super Stocks. Then Phil Crow, Mike Brown, James Hind and Paul Jordan.
Yeah, the conditions tonight are going to be really similar to what it was on the first night of practice, given that we had rain again last night. And the track is pretty much dry everywhere, but there's still them few little damp patches that the guys are going to be aware from the first night. So if they're going to be looking for back-to-back testing and settings and stuff, this is a really good chance. The guys are just looking out the window here, and the fog seems to be coming in a little bit, and it looks a little bit more overcast. So hopefully that just stays away and we can get the remainder of this practice session underway.
Absolutely. We're looking south towards South Barrule. Hopefully the weather's being pushed away from there by this northwesterly wind, but we can only just make out the very top of South Barrule at the moment as the cloud has just drifted in a little bit. As you say, let's hope it stays away. So Ian Hutchinson is now third fastest of the Super Stocks as far as the bungalow, but I think we have Nathan Harrison, Phil Crow and Mike Brown etc. to come through there just yet. Of the Super Bikes to the bungalow, Davy Todd is quicker than Josh Brooks and John McGuinness. We're waiting on Michael Dunlop and Peter Hickman to arrive. Hickman arrives now. Hickman is 12 seconds slower than Davy Todd. He's got Michael Dunlop right behind him on the road, actually, based on that timing. They've arrived almost together. So Davy Todd is to the bungalow in 13 minutes 55. 7 seconds behind that is Michael Dunlop on a 14:02. Then Peter Hickman is another 5.6 seconds behind that on a 14:07. Then Josh Brooks is 8 seconds down on Hickman's time to the bungalow. Then John McGuinness, then Davo Johnson and Craig Neave. But they're now going to be hitting the mountain properly. Well, they're through the mountain, I suppose, at the bungalow, but they've had that wind, they've had that feeling of what it's like up there.
Yeah, what I got from that last comment there is the fact that Michael Dunlop is tucked in behind Peter Hickman. Is that the right way around?
They're not too far apart on the
Yeah,
road.
so obviously the main games will have started already. They're going to be learning off each other. These two guys do not want to give anything away for free. So we could see somebody pull over. We could see anything. But I know for a fact neither one will want to be given any information to the other. And believe me, at this point in their career, they still learn. There's always something to learn, whether it be on a different bike or a line or anything like that there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do come through for a flying lap and they're still together when they get to the start and finish line.
We've got Sean Anderson tucked in right behind Mike Brown across the mountain as well. Sean getting a bit of a tow over the mountain.
Yeah, he'll not get much draft off Mike Brown, unfortunately, on that little Aprilia. With unless I'm out there, he's probably the smallest man in the field right now. So, yeah, he seems to be getting on really well with it. The bike sounds beautiful, and it's a long time, obviously, since we've had a big capacity Aprilia on the island. So, yeah, it would be great for them and the team to get a result.
We're about to get action across the line on Glencrutchery Road. The top names are heading down. Here we go. Jamie Coward's first, and he is pulling in. James, that was Davy Todd who's gone straight on. So Davy Todd, we are going to get a flying lap for him here, hopefully on the BMW. James Hillier coming in as well. So the two Superstock riders, Coward and Hillier, coming in after doing one lap. But Davy Todd has gone straight on. It's 131.821 for Davy Todd. Wow, we go way quicker than we have been so far this week. Todd tops the charts, 131.821. Jamie Coward on the suit. No, in fact, it is James Hillier is slightly quicker, 128.318 on the Superstock for Hillier. Coward, 128.22. Josh Brooks completes at 129.007. So that lap by Todd, that really does set things apart, and we'll see where he goes on this second lap. We'll get a flying lap in here, and this could go quicker again. More riders coming across. We've got John McGuinness straight through. So he will go out onto a second lap. He's at 127.83. Butchie, 123.35 on the Malenko by Padgett Super Stock machine, 123.35. It's a little bit down perhaps on where we might have expected, but we'll see how it develops as we go out onto the second lap of this session. So we know for a fact that Davy Todd and John McGuinness have gone out onto a second lap, and we'll definitely be watching these Davy Todd times. It's actually Josh Brooks who's done the fastest sector from the moment to grandstand.
Yeah, we just seen Peter Hickman pull into the pits, and Michael Dunlop follows him into the pits as well. So both of them guys not just happy with the setting or something they want to change, but yeah, the biggest thing we've learned from this is Davy Todd has thrown down a really good marker, and he's obviously feeling good on that bike because he's gone straight through for a flying lap. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do on this first sector from Davy Todd.
Yeah, we're fascinated to see how he goes on the run out to Glen Helen. Obviously, he's a minute or so probably now into that run out towards Glen Helen. We see Rob Hodgson is out on another lap as well. He's going through Quarter Bridge at the moment on the Super Stock machine. So let's try and get you a little bit of a leaderboard on that opening lap. Davy Todd then, 17 minutes 10.398, 131.821 on the BMW. Michael Dunlop on the Hawk Honda. We think it's the 2024 version. He's done, where's he gone? Actually, he's just disappeared off here. We'll get his time for him. 130.342. We need to get to the standing screen, that's why.
Just looking outside the window now, and I think the wind is possibly dying down a little bit. The trees are still moving, don't get me wrong, it hasn't stopped, but I'm looking out to the dyno jet flag here in the pits where the dyno is, and it's earlier it was bent double, and at the minute it's still blowing, but I don't think honestly it's as bad as what it was 20 minutes ago.
There's a bit of buzz about this tonight, Chris Kinley.
Certainly is. And Michael Dunlop came in. First thing he did was point to the front of the machine, the fire blade, and just get that air scoop in there. Get that air, get the leaf blower, if you want to call that something like you have forgotten, just to get the heat blown away from that. Now Peter Hickman's come in, and they just, come on guys, this you see, this is the problem we have. Lots of people in here just around as Mike Brown comes in. And you've got to keep your eyes and ears about you in here now, because these guys want to come in and they want to get these changes done quick. They don't want to have to be stopping in the middle of the return road. So if you do come in here, guys, just keep to the left, keep to the right, just keep your eyes and ears about you. So Mike Brown in, Michael Dunlop in, possibly to make some changes in that, but he has got the T-bike there, don't forget. So we will see if he goes out in the T-bike. Keep an eye on that. Jamie Coward's gone straight to his pit. And Mike Brown just in the debrief for Richard from Maxton there. So you just tell him about suspension there and doing the old arm wavy, waggly things. Just tell them exactly what it is. And I'm just looking up to see those clouds you were describing there, Chris Boyd. And that looks mean, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah, as we look south from here, certainly we hope, as you say, the northwesterly wind is pushing that away. So hopefully we will not get that. And it does look brighter as we look up over the mountain section. There is some higher cloud, but certainly nowhere near as bad as what we're seeing down over South Barrule. So stay away, you lot over there.
Yeah.
We'll keep what we've got up in the north.
Absolutely. So we're just having a little look at Peter Hickman, see what they are doing. He's just in his conversation with Darren, his crew chief. Maybe we'll go and grab a quick word with Darren after Hickey's gone back out to see exactly how he is. But now he's about to go out on the super stock machine. So he's changing from the Superbike to the super stock. And we'll just, if we can, if there's no bikes coming in, so I don't want to get in the way. 25, Nathan Harrison goes in. And away he goes. Let me grab a word with Darren when he comes back out, because obviously they're going to get now straight away, get the computers fired up, take all the data, just take the little bit of information that Peter has relayed to the team. Jamie Coward still, in fact, watch your back there, ladies. Number 2 just going out there now. That's Jamie Coward. He's about to go Mike Brown's machine. He turned around on that one as Mike, and Mike's about to head back out again. It's getting a bit frantic out here this evening, Jenny Timmuth.
Yeah, there's quite a few bikes just come straight in, isn't there, and a bit in and out, and everybody's quite desperate. It seems like they're quite in a hurry to get in and get straight back out again, so yeah, it's quite frantic, like you say.
So what do you think he'll be relaying to him there? Because obviously the wind will affect a big guy like Peter. Obviously happy with what he did. He's did 130, I think it was. Hickey's done 130, was it? Peter Hickman. We did have it on there. It was there a while ago, but it's all changed. Yes, him and Michael Dunlop are quite similar on speeds. Davy Todd's obviously done that 131, and he won't be too far away. Yeah, Hickey 129.3, Dunlop 130.3, separated by about 8 seconds there, which is nothing really. But Davy Todd, I think, Chris Boyd, looking at the times on here, should be about through Glen Helen now.
Through Glen Helen, and he's Glen Helen to Glen Helen is 132.325. He's sort of shaved 4 seconds off, which we would expect for a standing start lap against a flying lap. We might expect a little bit more come race day between the 2 laps. But yeah, 132.325 for Davy Todd. Glen Helen to Glen Helen. John McGuinness and Josh Brooks also both through Glen Helen on this second lap. So it's 4:14, about 6 seconds slower for John McGuinness, then another 2 seconds back to Josh Brooks, and a second or so back to Davo Johnson to bring you the leaderboard, as it were, after that opening lap. It was, as we know, that 131.821 for Davy Todd on the BMW. Michael Dunlop, second fastest of the Superbikes, 130.342. And then another 8 seconds or so back on that to Peter Hickman, which is why he kind of caught him on the road a little bit. 129.339 for Hickman on the FHO machine. Then Josh Brooks, also his FHO teammate, 129.007. John McGuinness on the Honda, 127.83. Sean Anderson, sixth fastest, 127.376. Seventh, ninth, Davo Johnson, Dominic Herbertson, and Craig Neve. On the super stocks, it was James Hillier who's fastest on that opening lap, 128.318. He, of course, came in, so too did Jamie Coward, second fastest, 128.22. Phil Crow, third fastest, 127.501. Nathan Harrison, good lap by him, 127.263. Mike Brown, 126.081. Paul Jordan, sixth fastest at 125.725. Then Rob Hodson, James Hind, Brian McCormack, and Matt Stevenson, sorry, let's get that right. Then we've got, just got interrupted there by Davy Todd arriving at Ballaugh, so he's through Ballaugh. That sector time, Glen Helen to Ballaugh, is not quite as quick as we see. Connor Cummins now does come up to the line, so Connor's about to go out on the super stock machine. By the looks of it, we'll get him away from the line, and Michael Dunlop pulls up right behind him up the ramp.
Yeah, Connor's doing the thing of just letting Michael go first.
Yeah.
That's just good etiquette there. He knows Michael's already been out for a lap, and he's probably wanting to push on. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if Chris or some of the guys down there could maybe grab Peter Hickman's crew chief, Darren. The only reason I think he'd jump off the Superbike and straight onto the Soccer is if they wanted to make a bigger change to the Superbike that maybe might take a bit more time, so whether that be a linkage or offset or something like that there. So it'd be interesting if some of the guys could grab one of the team members down there and find that out, and also keep the lookout for Dean Harrison. So he should be soon getting back from Ramsey. Obviously, he's kept within the speed limit. We're saying so. Yeah, he should be coming anytime soon.
Absolutely. So Michael Dunlop and Connor Cummins then are both out on the TT course now. They've both just left here. They're away. We see Nathan Harrison just taking a little bit of a break and getting some drinks on board before he decides what he's going to go out on next. So yeah, Davy Todd not quite as quick as the opening lap on the run from Glen Helen up to Ballaugh, about a second or so slower, but it is still a 132.1 pace, Ballaugh to Ballaugh, and we'll watch for his times as he comes through. Josh Brooks and John McGuinness also both through Ballaugh on the second lap. Trying to get an idea of the leaderboard out through Ballaugh on... There we go. We've got Davy Todd, John McGuinness, Josh Brooks, Rob Hutton, and Ian Hutchinson all out on the run from Ballaugh through to Ramsey at the moment. And so too Dave O'Johnson. Yeah, Davy Todd is fastest by 9 seconds or so from McGuinness on this lap. Lee?
Yeah, we're just watching James Hillier ride out down pit lane now. It's a little bit frustrating at this time of the session because the guys on track are a little bit more spread out. So sometimes you could end up waiting down there for 2 or 3 minutes, which is never great with the temperature starting to drop, and obviously you've got no tire warmers on. So I did say the wind had dropped off, but I've literally just watched a man grab a sign from blowing over. So maybe I was wrong. Once again, Lee Johnson's predictions are wrong, and the wind has picked up again.
We've got 18 or so minutes left on this session. Lots happening down there, Chris.
Certainly is. Michael Dunlop's gone back out again, but he has gone back out not on the T bike. He's gone out on the bike that he went out on originally. All right, so obviously made a couple of changes. And Darren, the crew chief for the Monster Energy BMW FHO racing team, he's doing work on the front himself. Jen, the fairings have all been off the side fairing, the nose fairing. What's Darren been furcling with?
It's all hands on deck there, isn't it? Yeah, they've just literally dropped the forks through the yoke. So in terms of the bike, they've just transferred a little bit of weight to the rear end of the bike. So Pete obviously feels like he wants a little bit more stability because that will alter the steering as well. So he's obviously happy that the bike steers fast enough. So he just wants possibly a bit of weight transfer back to the back and a little bit more stability on the front.
It's not a lot though. It's only a couple of mil, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a tiny amount, but obviously Peter's felt something and then just come straight back in and said, "Yeah, boys, get that sorted for me." And
then go out in the Superstock, because Lee was asking that as well. Was that the plan? Yeah. Did Lee jump in on this one, Lee Johnson?
Yeah, going off what Jenny's just explained there. Obviously, they're making the bike slightly taller, which will give the bike a little bit more rake and make it more stable. So he's, in a simple terms, he's probably thinking it was a little bit nervous and maybe shopping trolley feeling. You know, like when you see the wheel just floating around in the front of your shopping trolley when there's no weight in it. That's the feeling. That's the easiest way to describe that on my technical terms. But yeah, I thought it was a bit strange, the fact that they didn't hold him to make the change, which meant that the change was going to take a bit of time, which it does. Obviously, you have to take the bodywork and stuff off to loosen all the yokes and drop the forks through. So yeah, I'd say we will probably see Pete come in and possibly get back on that Superbike if he has time after the Superstock lap.
Where would he feel something like that going wrong, Jenny Timothy? Name the corners when it's just not steering fast enough or steering too fast. Which sort of corners would he pick that up on?
I think literally just the fastest ones, and anything, yeah, and anything in a straight line as well. You know, over the bumps, it might be quite nervous over the bumps, the front end, especially at speed. It sits further back on the rear of the bike, and the front end can end up kind of floating a little bit. So, I mean, the wings do help. The wings generate quite a bit of downforce, so they do help. So, yeah, whether it's just something that he's feeling that he wants to change, Lee will have quite a good idea on that which corners would be better.
Lee?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily even always a corner, so it could be like Sulby Straight and places like that where the front wheel is coming in and out of contact with the ground, and you want that stability. We say it as riders, say, "Oh, it was that good, we could have took our hands off the handlebars doing 200 mile an hour," but that is the feeling he will be searching for. And honestly, the wind could be like what Jenny just said, lulling him into a false sense of maybe thinking that's a little bit worse. But Pete's a very smart rider and he's in a very good team, so I doubt that very much. He will be going off the feeling that he's had based on Monday night's practice.
Grab a quick word with Darren if we can. Sorry guys, just check in there. All hands to the pump there.
Yeah, he wasn't very happy, to be fair. It was all right the other night. He did complain the engine felt a little bit flat, to be honest. We've done some fueling and what have you, and I think we've gone the wrong way. Either that or we've got an engine issue. So we're going to see how he gets on now. We've made some changes to the chassis and to the fueling. See how he gets on in the next. He's going to go back out in a minute. And if not, we'll put another engine in tomorrow.
All right, Dan, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks very much for that. Yeah, didn't want to touch on the suspension issue. One man who had issues with suspension the other day is that man right there, Jonathan Perry. He's just taken his lid off, and I want to grab a word of them and just get it, shall we say, from the horse's mouth. Johnny Perry, nice to see you. No trouser bulging moments this evening then. Explain to the listeners out there, you had a bit of a moment the other night.
Yeah, it was a bit of a brown trouser moment, that I think. I did my first lap on the ZX10 and it was absolutely brilliant, and went through the top of St. Ninians and then hit the bottom of Bray Hill. And it felt quite sort of bottomed out, which is, not unordinary, but it didn't feel right after that. And then when I got to Quarter Bridge, I stopped and had a look, and unfortunately the shock linkage had snapped clean. So, it wasn't the best. About 160 mile an hour on a shock linkage snapping.
What about the 600? You had a few problems with that. Brand new bike, though.
Yeah, the Paradigm 600 Honda is it's a fantastic bit of kit, but unfortunately just run out of time to ride it before we got to the meeting. So, just a few teething problems with lever position and stuff like that. But, yeah, we got it sorted and we got out on it again, so it was all good.
Conditions out there tonight?
Yeah, it's just windy.
Where? Tell us exact spots, the worst bits. Is it gusty or is it constant?
Yeah, obviously the main places like Windy Corner and places like that, the mountain box, the wind's quite bad up there, but it's quite blustery, sort of like Crosby as well, and places like that when you're going over the jump. So just steady away tonight, I think.
All right, you going out again?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Guys are circling around, aren't they? So.
Yeah, we just had a little issue with the ZX10 then. Just felt like it was holding back a little bit, as if like maybe the fuel pipe kinked or something like that. So, the boys are on it now. We'll get it sorted and get out again.
Thanks, John.
Cheers, mate.
Here's Jonathan Perry there. So what do you make of that, Jenny, going over the top of St. Ninians and your shock linkage brakes? Oops.
Yeah, that would be like shock to the system, wouldn't it? Yeah. You just basically got no rear suspension at that point, so not ideal.
It's gone colder as well. I think Patrick just touched on it as well. And Patrick France just made a really, really good point. These guys will be coming in. They'll be looking at that and thinking, hang on, we need to get in and get out as quick as we can. Patrick, that's your take, and that's what you'd be looking at as a passenger. And also, if you were the driver, you want to be out there, don't you?
Yeah, you need lap times and you want to get out there, but you can see everybody that's come in, they've sort of been in a rush to sort of get on the bike and get back out. And I don't know if it's because they want to get back in and get out on the other bike, but I think they'd be looking at the clouds over there and thinking that the weather's maybe coming in and they're going to run out of time or weather.
Let's keep an eye on this Davy Todd lap, though. Michael Dunlop's out there, Connor's out there, they're all out there. Chris Boyd.
Absolutely, we're monitoring that Davy Todd's second lap, obviously a flying lap. He's through the bungalow in 13:55, which is almost exactly the same time as he was on the opening lap. So it may just be that he's not going to go any quicker, but we're watching the Michael Dunlop lap as well. He's now through Ballath, and he is quicker both to Glen Helen and to Ballath than Davy Todd was on his opening lap. That's comparing standing start lap to standing start lap. Dunlop a second quicker as far as Glen Helen than Davy Todd was, and he's about another second or so. Yeah, he's had 2 seconds out of Davy Todd's standing start lap time, which was the fastest lap we've seen so far of the week at 131.8. So we're monitoring that Michael Dunlop lap. We're also watching John McGuinness, who is right on around about the 130 type pace, Lee.
Yeah, we're just keeping an eye on John there. That's a really strong showing for second night of practice, but the most impressive thing, I think, is Davy Todd. His fastest ever lap is a 32.9, I believe. I've been given my facts from my partner next door. So this is really impressive by Davy, putting these lap times in straight away. And obviously, he's not done a lot of laps on that bike around this track. So, yeah, we can see Peter on the screen here now, and he looks a lot more comfortable on the Superstock bike than he did on the Superbike. But like Crew Chief Daz just said there a minute ago, he's planning to come straight back in and get straight back out on that Superbike. So this will be interesting to see them changes straight away, conditions like for like. This is ideally what you want to be doing as a rider.
Absolutely. The run to the bungalow then on this second lap. This is just for the second lap. Davy Todd is there in 13 minutes 55.3. John McGuinness 14 minutes 12.0. So that's 17 seconds down on Todd's time. But nonetheless, John McGuinness is going very, very handily this evening. Josh Brooks is third fastest, about a second and a half down on McGuinness. And then Dave O'Johnson is there in 4 seconds down on Brooks, as we have a time in, we think, for Davy Todd. He did 131.745, so it wasn't quite as fast as that opening lap. The opening lap, 131.821. He's completed the second lap, 131.745, and obviously comes in, but that's 2 really consistent laps on the board, Lee.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Like we say, that's just slightly over a mile an hour off what his fastest ever lap is on Wednesday night of practice, having missed, obviously, the Tuesday. So, yeah, we're going to be expecting big things this week from Davy Todd. He just looked at the rear tyre there straight away, and he's just talking to his crew chief here. I'm trying to look from his hand signals. He's he's rubbing his knuckles together as if to say it was bouncing or like bouncing off the surface. So I don't know. See if Chris or any of the guys are down there that can maybe jump in and get a quick interview off Davy. He's normally always happy enough to talk, so it'd be a good chance to grab him maybe.
It just depends if he's wanting to jump out on another machine. We've got another 9 minutes or so left off this session. Michael Dunlop, we see into Parliament Square, so we'll get a split time for him at Ramsey very, very shortly too. Where there is still noticeably damp conditions up there in Ramsey, aren't there?
Yeah, definitely. So we're certain that Michael's gone back out on the same 2024 Superbike. So as far as we know, since the very first lap of practice, he hasn't got back on the 23 bike as of yet. So it looks like this is going to be the bike of choice for the rest of the week.
We'll get his time into Ramsey. Let's get down to Chris Kinley with Davy Todd, hopefully.
Yeah, he's just talking about suspension on the rear of the Milwaukee BMW and just shaking his head a little bit. And he's also just sat next to the Superstock machine, so maybe he's going to head back out on that in a second or two. We'll just jump in past the TV guys if we can. Don't want to get in the way of the guys. Yeah, they're doing a bit of work here. The tyre warmers are straight on the front of the Milwaukee BMW. He's just in talking to the crew chief and maybe just get him when he comes back out here in a second or so. He's got the fluid about to go back in as well. And we'll get the thoughts of him any second now. If we're just going to jump around to one of his crew guys in a second, just don't want to get in the way because obviously got the tyre warmers that they want to get in. It does look like he's going to be going out on the Superstock bike. He's just in conversation. We will get in with him. Don't worry about that. Also, if you need anything any other times, anything like that, Boyd, you just jump in, my friend. All right, it's not a problem at all. But yeah, he's just going in to look at the data. And they've obviously just had a little look at all the stuff that they've got on the computer there now. And he's just, his crewman is just showing him it on the screen. Maybe just showing him sector times. Who knows what they're doing, but that's what they're doing. In fact, I'm not going to go too close to down there because they've got a little radio, TT radio down there. We'll get loads of feedback off. Probably, so we'll just have to just keep a little eye on that. Yeah, he's just showing him all the data for the various sectors and such like that. So we'll just leave it on. He's just shaking his head at a couple of things as well. And he came in, and I'll just come back out to Jen. If Jen, you're just there as that's Hutchie, and actually Hutchie's in. He was saying now the rear of the machine just seemed to be kicking in and biting and fighting him back. Just explain that to the listener.
I guess just a case of if it feels really stiff on the rear, as soon as he hits a bump. Rather than the bike absorbing the bump, it'll just kick him and it'll kick him out of the seat. And if that's what he's explaining there. But it can be one of two things. It can either be the spring too hard and that kicks you out of the seat, or it can actually be too soft and be right at the bottom of the travel and that can then kick you out of the seat. So yeah, like you say, the crew chief they'll look at the data and decide which way he needs to go with that.
All right, Jen, thank you very much for that. We'll grab a word with them if we can. David, sorry, bud, just speaking to the tyre guy just a second. So everybody seems to be getting in first. Yeah, he's talking about the tyre movement as well. That's what he's talking about too. We'll get it from the horse's mouth in a second. He's speaking to the Metzeler guy, which is what they run. He's got the little custom earplugs in. I do like them as well. He always looks super cool as well. I'm just jealous I can't have hair like that. That's what it is anyway. So yeah, I think he's happy enough. Yeah, we'll just let him finish the conversation. Don't want to get too close to that conversation because it's obviously information he just wants to put to the tyre chap and doesn't want relayed on air. And Davey, just a quick word on Radio TT. How was that? The big smiles there. Happy?
Yeah, over the moon, mate. It's just mega to get laps around this place, as always. I'm just enjoying myself. I was saying to the boys there, really, we tried something with the setting of the bike, and I said I probably should have pulled in after the first lap because I don't think we went the right direction, but I just want to enjoy myself. I'm just enjoying myself too much out there that I kept going and did a second lap just because, I guess.
Two very, very similar laps, and I think the first lap was only 1 mile an hour slower than you've been of your best lap, 131 and a bit.
Yeah, that's it. I'm amazed at that because, man, it's windy up on the mountain at the moment. Another call it Windy Corner for a reason. I'm like fully leant over. I come out of Windy Corner and I'm still feel like I'm at 45 degrees going down the straight after Windy Corner. It's a bit windy up on the tops. You got to be careful. Still them few damp patches, but we'll be sweet.
Off you go, boys. There you go. Let's go. Yeah, so there we go. So interesting there. We were talking about wind and how it can affect, that's a blinking big motorcycle to try and keep upright. And, if you ride on the road yourself and you've ever gone around Windy Corner and it's windy and it blows up that valley, it's a horrible feeling, Jenny Timothy.
Yeah, you kind of have to lean against the wind, don't you? There's obviously loads of bikers over here, so if you've ever been riding down the motor and you get gust of wind, you end up riding at like a 10-degree angle just to compensate for the wind. So imagine if you get a gust and then having to compensate. But it's interesting how instinctive you do that. You naturally just lean on the wind and let it. the worst thing is when it's gusting, isn't it? Because you can't really predict when it's going to be there and when it's going to be gone. But yeah, it's quite impressive how instinctively you just know to lean over a little bit more and kind of compensate for that wind push on your side.
When he was talking to the Metzeler guy, they were talking about tyres and stuff, and he was talking about the tyre over compression. Just explain that.
So obviously that's a tyre pressure thing. So there's the carcass of the tyre, they actually act sort of as a suspension component in themselves. You know, they can compress, and you can kind of adjust that with the tyre pressure. So whether he wants a little bit more tyre pressure in there just to compensate for the tyre squash, or I think Metzeler maybe have a different tyre for this event. You know, they've done a bit of development work. So
a double compound one.
Yeah, they have a double compound with a harder compound in the centre for the high speed straights, and then the soft compound again on the side. But I also think they possibly have a more road-based development tyre. So whether it's something that they're just trying to tweak a little bit to get the perfect setup for that. And interesting there that he can chat to a Metzeler guy straight away and relay the information that he's felt out on track, and then the Metzeler guy can obviously give a bit of advice back to him. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much for that, Jenny Timoth. Davy Todd about to head back out on the Superstock bike. Chris Boyd.
Yeah, we're just trying to find out where Dean Harrison is, trying to look at the trackers. There is a bike heading down in towards Laxey. We can't get the identification, but we suspect that might be Dean. He's only made it as far as Laxey at the moment. We are watching the Michael Dunlop lap. In fact, he's just made it to Cronknamona. He's had to, I don't know if he's hit traffic or whether he's just slowed down a little bit there. He was on the fastest lap of the week as far as the bungalow. He was through to the bungalow in 13 minutes 54 against Davy Todd's 13:55.3, but then he's done a 2:17 between the bungalow and Cronknamona, whereas Davy Todd was on a 2:13. So maybe just backing it off a little bit on the 2024 bike.
Yeah, obviously we don't know. We can't see with the traffic and stuff, but I thought it was started off like one of them police documentary shows there. We're talking about a stolen vehicle driving down the coast road mounted by Dean Harrison. So, yeah, hopefully he gets back. Obviously, there's nothing more frustrating than missing a session. And he honestly couldn't have been any further away at the point when he broke down. So it was the worst place possible. Let's hope that whatever the problem is, that the bike gets him back, because there's chances we're probably better of getting a lift at Ramsey than they are right now in the middle of the coast road.
Michael Dunlop then completes that lap, and it is 131.729 for Michael Dunlop. And we know he's backed off a little bit at the end of the lap, so not quite as quick as Davy Todd. There's about 2 minutes left on the session. And as we look, it appears that Dean Harrison is not the only person going for a tour of the Isle of Man. We've got James Hines somewhere out near Foxdale at the moment, trying to make his way back. In fact, that brings us to the retirements list. Sam West was a retirement very early on in the session at Braddon Oak. We know about Dean Harrison at Parliament Square. David Rigby out at Sulby Crossroads, he retired. And James Hines is making his way back from Ballacrane, which is where he stopped.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. We've got 7 minutes of this session left, so I don't know if the guys down in pit lane can see if they've got that Superbike back together of Peter Hickman's, and he is going to go straight back out on that bike or not. Can Chris or Jenny or any of the guys down there see that?
Yeah, he's come back in. Lee's already made the change. He's already headed out. He has gone. He was in and out straight away. As he jumped off the Superstock bike, it was wheeled up to the ramp, and he is away.
Yeah, it's interesting. Another fact that people won't even think. Did he change his visor, Chris, or did you see?
Didn't see that. No, just turned around really, really quick. But looking at the visors, Lee, Michael Dunlop came in. That's the first thing he did was the RI guy was straight to him, James and the guys, just to give him a new visor, but didn't see Hickey at all.
Yeah, because we normally always run maybe 2-3 tear off maximum, and Pete's already done that amount of laps already, and he could hit a fly early and tear off. So it's a little bit frustrating now to go out on your flying lap to make a change, and if the visor's already clogged up. But I think he probably would have said to somebody in the team straight away, because that's something you want. That's obviously a very important part of your materials to be able to see.
Let's get down to Beth Espy, who has Jamie Coward.
I certainly do. Yeah, Jamie, talk us through what it's like out there at the moment then.
Conditions are pretty good, to be fair. It's nice to get out and spin some laps, but there's still a bit of a damp patch coming out of Glen Helen, and then coming down through into Cates as well. As you tip in there, there's a bit of a damp spot on the floor, which is a bit off-putting. But yeah, it's a bit windy on the top. But as the organiser said to us, just be careful, just be steady up there, because it is pretty breezy. So yeah, apart from that, it's just nice to be out, to be fair.
And bike round plan?
Yeah, we've made a bit of a change, and it's going in the right direction, but it's still not as I want, if that makes sense. So we've gone a little bit quicker there, which I were a bit surprised with, actually, because my second lap there felt absolutely awful, because it was trying to, I know it sounds a bit wrong, but it was trying to kill me, to be fair. But yeah, it's we're getting there, so we know which way to go now, and then we should improve again for tomorrow.
Cheers, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
seen some really weird things here at the TT in my time. Dean Harrison has got back now. He's about to jump back on a Honda. He's just got off a Honda, actually, of a gentleman who's obviously given him a lift to get here. Milky's just pointed him in the right direction, and I'm going to grab a word with him and just see who this gentleman is and say thank you very much for getting Dean back here. Sir, thank you very much for getting Dean back. You're live on Radio TT. How was that, having Dean Harrison on the back of your bike? Let you take your lid off. Good stuff. That's a mighty fine head of hair you've got. What's your name? Where you from?
My name's Keith. I'm from Coventry.
From Coventry. So, and Dean Harrison, you just give him a lift back to the paddock. How was that?
Well, he just gave me a lift back the coast road through Laxey and stuff. So that was a novel experience, I can tell you. But,
get him to sign your bike.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be good. No, he hasn't done yet. He was in too much of a hurry. But yeah, that was an experience and a half.
Thank you, Keith, for getting him back.
No problem.
Good luck. Enjoy your TT. There we go. So there's the story from the horse's mouth. And I'm sure the Honda team are going to look after this gentleman pretty well. Back to you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been on behind Dean Harrison before, and I don't envy that man at all. Maybe get him sat down, give him a cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit for his efforts.
Still plenty of riders heading out onto new laps here at the City Grandstand. They are going to run this session right through till 20 past then, which is when we was due to move into the Super Sport and the Super Twins. But these guys want to get the laps in. Let's run you down where we are. Davy Todd then on the BMW, 131.821. That was on his opening lap, 17 minutes 10.398. The second lap was within a hair's breadth of that. Michael Dunlop, second fastest, having backed it off a little bit on the run down the mountain on his lap on the 2024 Spec Hawk machine. 131.729 is only 7/10 of a second down on Davy Todd. He was certainly quicker than him up as far as the bungalow. Peter Hickman, third fastest on the Superbikes, 129.339, and he is out on another lap right now, as we know. John McGuinness, 129.269, fourth fastest on the night of the Superbikes, ahead of Josh Brooks. Superbox, good lord. 129.205, then Dave Johnson, 128.348. 7th to 10th, Sean Anderson, James Hillier, Craig Neve, and Dom Herbertson. On the Super Stocks, it's Hickman that's fastest, 129.723, with a lap that was basically thrown in so the guys could work on the Superbike, and he's put himself straight to the top of the charts on the Super Stock. 129.723 is 17 minutes 27.0, and that is 7.1 seconds quicker than that Jamie Coward time that we just heard from Jamie, 128.844. James Hillier is third fastest, 4 seconds down on Coward, 128.318. Then Philip Crow is fifth, 127.958. Nathan Harrison is fifth, 127.263. Connor Cummins has got his lap in on the Stockler as well, 126.961 for Connor, sixth fastest on the Malenko by Padgett's machine. Then 7th to 10, Rob Hodson, Mike Brown, Paul Jordan, and Brian McCormick. Do you think Connor will be happy with that?
Honestly, no. It's for someone that's done, what was the fastest lap, Chris Boyd, we're going to say, on a Superstock Honda around this island, was Connor Cummins, 133.
Yeah,
that was his fastest ever lap. So he's a good 7 mile an hour off that, 6 mile an hour. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on down there in the Padgett's team, because both riders seem to be a little bit off. Obviously, Ian's coming back from a bit of time away, but there's no reason at all why Connor Cummins should not be in these top 3-4 times. He's a multiple podium finisher around the Isle of Man TT, and he always shows up on them Superbike days. So, yeah, he's probably going to be a little bit frustrated down there for the Manxman.
Last few seconds to go. Is anybody heading for the gate, Chris Kinley?
Yeah, James Hillier's just made it out last minute on the WTF Superstock machine. So, yeah, and we've just got more. But in fact, no, Mike Russell, no, hasn't made it. The gate is now shut. He's missed it by 6 seconds. They've been doing some adjustments to his bike there, and he hasn't made the gate. So that is a shame. Mike Brown's one of the first ones to be getting up to the line. So 3 minutes to start the session, Boydie. Hand it back to you for a quick recap. We'll make our way to the gate.
Peter Hickman is through Glen Helen on his latest lap on a Superbike. It's a standing start lap, and it's almost as quick as Davy Todd's standing start time to Glen Helen. Davy Todd was there in 4:18.1. Peter Hickman is there in 4:18.3. We know Michael Dunlop was quicker than that, about a second quicker than that. He did a 4:17, but this lap we will follow from Peter Hickman because it sounds like he's up the game. Whatever they've changed seems to be working.
We can hear a sigh of relief right up here in the tower from the FHO team, so we don't want to see an angry Peter Hickman coming back in again. So yeah, Daz and the team down there will be watching the time and screens thinking, yeah, we've gone the right direction this time, and he's obviously going to be a little bit happier with the motorbike underneath him.
still lots and lots of riders out there, lots of the big names out there as well, completing laps. So we will just keep an eye on things. And obviously, some of them, like John McGuinness, etc., don't need to be out in the Super Sport or Super Twin session, but the others, they're concentrating on the big bikes, and that will compromise them a little bit on the Super Sport and the Super Twin.
Yeah, sometimes even things to bear in mind. I know the guys are trying to get the laps in, and Pete had to go out later on because he got on the super stock bike, but the likes of John McGuinness and that could go out right at the end of this session and do an extra lap because they don't have to worry then about getting back in time. You're going to lose the guts of 20 minutes at least by the time you come in and get changed or change your helmet, change your visor, whatever that is. A lot of the riders, even Peter Hickman and Mike Brown that we're going to watch now, they ride for different teams and different classes. So the guys have to come in, change their leathers, their boots, their gloves, their helmet even sometimes. So all that takes time and takes away from a session. So, the likes of John McGuinness that's only in the big bike class and also Nathan Harrison, they can go out right at the end and get an extra lap in.
We can see the short flagging process is in place for the guys who are still out there. So we are getting ready to start the next session. It was due to go about 2 minutes ago at 20 past. So we do maybe just gave a few minutes extra on that previous session, and we're maybe going to go at 25 past is possibly what we're hearing. So about 3 minutes to go. So that will just give us time to run down what we have so far. We know people are still out on laps. In fact, Peter Hickman has just made it through Balaf. Let's see if we can get an indication on his lap out to Balaf. He's dropped about 3 seconds back. We're going to go any minute. Let's get down to Chris Kinley.
Yeah, we'll go back to those times in a moment, but it's number 20. That is, of course, local man Mikey Evans, 14th quickest on his Triumph, 121.338 for the former Manx Grand Prix winner. And he's got number 14, Mike Brown. He's on the R6 Yamaha, and he's on 10th position, 10th quickest, 122.843 on that machine. Looks mint, doesn't it? They all look nice and clean. They're going to get stone peppered in a couple of minutes. We'll obviously keep a little ear on times and stuff, but there goes the Triumph down pit lane, the centre, on the centre line past the 60-kilometre-hour markers. 22 is next to go. That's 22. That's Julian Trummer. No time on the Super Sport machine for him as of yet. So obviously this is Super Sport and Super Twins. Number 15 is next. That's Rob Hodson. He's 13th quickest at 121.554. Michael Dunlop, Paul Jordan just letting Michael Dunlop through. So Michael, now then, we're going to talk about this. Lee Johnson, bring you in on this one. Michael on the Yamaha R6, not the Triumph.
Are you trying to get me in trouble? Do I
Yes.
say the wrong thing? Yeah, obviously he just wanted to try. I don't know why that is. I haven't spoke to Michael, and honestly, if he would tell me the truth if I did ask him. So yeah, it's in his preference. He knows he's got a 130 mile an hour in the bank. There's obviously something he's not 100% happy with the Triumph. Going by the Northwest 200 results, I would say he was in pretty good position then, and the bike's only going to get better, but he obviously doesn't want to waste any time, and he's gone back to what he knows.
Number 16 on the twin, thank you, Lee. Joe Yurtz, 114.34 is just gone. 6th quickest, number 3, about to go on the twin as well. Pierre-Yves Billon. We got back to the Super Sport machines at number 33 is next to go. 33, that's Brian McCormack on the Triumph. 18 is next on the twin. 3rd quickest, Barry Ferber on the Yamaha, 114.958. Barry gets away. Number 2 is next to go. Number 2 is Jamie Coward. Jamie, of course, switching machines from the machine he had last year. Yamaha last year? Yeah, Yamaha last year. He is now on the Triumph this year. 34 is next to go. Didn't manage to get out on the big bike, but he's out on it now. Michael Russell on the Aprilia, the Super Twin, 14th quickest of Mike at 110.269, sorry. 25 is next, another one of the Patterns on the twins. That's Francesco Coringa, former Manx Grand Prix winner as well, 111.414. And also stayed in my house quite a few times. 28, Adam McLean. Good to see Adam back racing. What a team that is he's riding for as well. The Flitwick Motorcycles twin. 33 is next to go. That, of course, is Chris Moore. 8th quickest for Chris on the IE Super Twin, the Kawasaki this time at 113.12. 31 is next is Manxman. That's, of course, Mark Colvin from Peel. 11th quickest for Mark on the 31 plated green machine. The green plates with the white numbers at 111.69. 37 is Marcus Simpson. He's about to go out on his Triumph Super Sport machine. The blue plates, the white plates with the blue numbers on it. Another Manxman follows him. That's 41. That, of course, is Paul Cassidy on the eSIM Go Island Fuels twin. And Paul gets a tap on the shoulder and away. 35 is next. Another Manxman. That's young Gareth Arnold, still only just 21 years old, this young man. He's away at the Cowton Racing team, the Super Twin. A man who's ridden for the Cowton Racing team, just behind him is number 16. That, of course, is Dominic Herbertson on the Burrows Engineering RK machine. Dominic did 122.42 the other night. 36 is next. Jonathan Gotsky, he's 21st quickest on the Supersport bike at 117.394. 43 is next to go on the Supersport machine. Have to go over the page and over it's Almeric Blanc. He hasn't got a lap in yet as Almeric on that machine, but which hopefully will tonight. 24 on the Supersport machine is next to go. 24, of course, is Mikhail Tukopoli. He hasn't got a lap on that machine yet. And again, the Rocknet machine is away, the R6. That's a lot of noise, isn't it? 43 is next to go. 43, Jack Fowler, another graduate from the Manx Grand Prix, away on his twin. 54 on the twin is next. That's Wayne Bourgois, 20th quickest for Wayne at 107.77. We're 4 minutes into the session. And we'll get number 60 away. That, of course, is from the Northeast Rider. That's Richard Charlton. He's on the R6. Just behind him is number 21. That's Michael Miko Sweeney on the R6 as well. 41, CBR 600. That, of course, is James Chalk. And 23 is Joey Thompson. Again, he is on the Supersport machine. Early days in the session. Chris Boyd.
Michael Dunlop really crossed up over the top of Crosby Hill. He was absolutely fast as he could be into the tank, wasn't he? He couldn't have made himself any thinner, and the thing got totally out of place over the club. May have been the wind.
Yeah, it had to be. I think the way it kicked sideways. But one thing we did notice was that he did not roll out of that throttle at 1%. So he was not affected by that at all. So yeah, just sometimes it could be a little bit of a gust at the wrong time, and that's one of the things we have to worry about. But just jumping back onto something we looked on the big bike class, and we were talking about certain guys running super stock bikes in both classes, and Chris Boyd brought the speed trap times up from Sulby Street, and the speed trap of Peter Hickman's full-blown superbike and Davy Todd's superstock bike are within less than a mile an hour. So all of that money spent, and he's not even got a mile an hour faster.
Shows what that Davy Todd machine has got, though, doesn't it? Absolutely tremendous. 195.025 miles an hour down Sulby against 195.7.
Yeah, we're just looking at the screen here now, and what we spoke about earlier is Josh Brooks getting undressed. I don't know if this should be on the TV screen right now, but yeah, he's just changing from his FHO leathers to his Russell Racing BPE Yamaha R6 leathers, which he's about to head out on right now. So that's another thing that the riders have to take on board, and teams are bringing clothing up for them. And like, realistically now, he's going to miss the first 5 to 10 minutes of this session just because he's having to change suits.
Still tracking this Peter Hickman lap. He's out there on the Superbike. It's a really strange lap. The first sector time out to Glen Helen was good. It was comparable with Davy Todd and Michael Dunlop, a little bit slower, but not a huge one. Then the times have gone off for after Ramsey, but on his favourite climb of the mountain, he's just done the fastest sector time of the night of anybody.
Yeah, it's just a little bit strange. At this time of night, we don't know what traffic is out there and who on the road. Obviously, because he's gone out, he's been in the pits twice, and obviously everybody is out there going as fast as they can, but there could be people higher up in the numbers and just getting in his way. And Pete is renowned for not making a move on. He's a really, really safe rider, and it doesn't really mean anything tonight. He's going on what that bike feels like. The lap time to him doesn't really matter as long as he knows that the time is in the bike. So yeah, he'll be happy enough for that one.
Absolutely. Then out through Glen Helen on the Super Sport machines is Michael Dunlop, despite that little moment over Crosby, who leads the way. He's there in 4 minutes 31.3. That compares to the standing start laps the other day. Davy Todd was the fastest, I think, on the one out to Glen Helen in a 4:36. So we are 5 seconds quicker than we were on Monday, only as far as Glen Helen. So nearly well over half a second a mile actually on the run out to Glen Helen. Jamie Coward is second fastest. He's there in 4:32, so he's only 0.8 of a second down on Dunlop as far as Glen Helen. Then Paul Jordan is third fastest. He's another 4 seconds down on Coward. Then Mikey Evans, fourth fastest. Mike Brown is fifth. Then Rob Hodgson, Brian McCormick and Julian Trummer. See if any of the Super Twins are coming through yet. They should probably be by now. Pierre-Yves Bihan, last year's podium finisher. He is the quickest out through Glen Helen. 4 minutes 50 for Pierre-Yves Bihan. Baz Ferber is a 4:56. Mike Russell a 4:58. Then Francesco Coringa, Joe Yeardsley, Mark Colvin and Adam McLean, but a lot more runners still to come through on that. So we wait now for the Super Sports to get out to the lap. It's, as we say, Dunlop who is fastest on the run out to Glen Helen from Jamie Coward and Paul Jordan.
So Dunlop is fastest to Glen Helen with his first time on the Yamaha R6. We don't know. I look at social media and things as we all do. I don't know if anybody out there can give us the information as when possibly he last rode that R6, when it was tested or raced even, because the last times all we've seen him ride in testing on both racing at the Northwest and Irish Club Racing has been on the Triumph. So yeah, really, it shows how much knowledge he has of that bike, the settings, and this is what we're talking about, why he goes back to it. He's got the base setting in there, the tyres are the same, the suspension's the same, the motor, the electronics, everything's the same because the rules haven't changed any, so he can just jump on that bike and he knows what to do.
We were saying the other day, it's a bold decision to jump off the bike that you've done the first 130 mile an hour Super lap, but then he did also see Peter Hickman also do a 130 mile an hour lap last year.
Yeah, and obviously Peter has been with the Triumph for some time now and has a really good connection with Triumph, obviously with the PHR racing side of things, and anybody that runs a Triumph has to get their engines built there. So yeah, Peter is in the same situation, only with a different manufacturer. And I don't believe Michael has any proper connection to either manufacturer. The team buys the bikes and stuff, so it is literally down to his decision, what he wants to do. He's not tied to anyone, and he's going to do that.
Speaking of Peter Hickman, he's completed that lap. He is over the 130 now, 130.804 on the Monster Energy BMW by FHO Racing Superbike. Connor Cummins has also completed a lap, 129.286 on the Superstock. Davy Johnson, 127.348, and he's with Chris Kinley.
He is. Just a quick debrief of the team there now. Quickly takes a little glug of stuff. He's probably going to head quickly back out. Davo, just a quick word. Conditions out there for the fans?
Dodgy. Up in the mountains, pretty sketchy. It's real tailwind down the mountain mile, and so you just got to be wary of that in the corners where you tailwind, and it's like Brandywell, it pushes you into there. I ran really wide just that lap, but not scarily wide, but I was like, yeah, that pushed me wide. Like it was wide-ish, yeah. So it was, you just got to be wary of it. It's go as hard as you dare up there, but I'm happy with everything. A few changes to make on a Superbike, even though we went quick on it, definitely wasn't right. So it's big things to come hopefully.
All right, David, let you get back to your team. Thank you, buddy. Cheers. Nice to hear the thoughts of David Johnson. Michael Rutter has got back in as well. Thankfully, hopefully, no more technical problems, because he was saying he had a few issues with the electronics at the Northwest 100 as well. He's just about to jump on the beautiful Batham's machine, the 700, the Yamaha that he's got. That colour scheme is just top notch, isn't it? Really, just having a little look to see who Michael Dunlop's out on the bike at the moment. Lots of people have come in. They've just jumped in, and like you say, quick change of leathers and just heading back out again. So yeah, interesting night so far. Still early days, and we've still got the Sidecars to come 8:10 until 9:10. And Beth, your thoughts? We're just going to move out the way a little bit here, because any bikes come in, we're just going to be in the way. I don't want to see you get run over. I'm looking after you, kid.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, do you know, you said earlier that it felt frantic in here tonight, and I think that really describes it well. There is an energy in here.
But on the line, it was nice and chilled. Peter Hickman's just gone out, by the way, in the number 10 machine, and Dave Johnson just about to go out on his Super Sport machine. But up on the line, I said, it's all chilled, isn't it? But this is it. Business end now. They need laps.
And that's it, isn't it? And you've got your teams down here as you're doing everything that they can to make sure that they get as many laps in as possible and just encouraging them out. But yeah, it's like a well-oiled machine, if I can use that analogy down here. But
I think that's a pretty good analogy. It is. The guys come in and say, right, when I come in after the lap, this is what I'm doing, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then go. They don't want any changes to that. And do you know what? That temperature is dropping and dropping and dropping, isn't it?
It really is freezing. Poor old Patrick here. Look at him. He's shivering.
Withered.
It's not just me. I mean, you look at even the mechanics now. I've even got the bobble hats on. So, I mean, all the guys over there on the sidecars, they've all got...
Big Jim, he's a big lad. He's Jim Brindley.
You think he's got enough to keep him warm, but no, he needs a woolly hat on. So,
he does.
Apart from Milky using shorts, which is a bit of an anomaly, but
that's Milky.
We'll leave that.
He's just a warm person all over, to be fair. Or maybe he just doesn't feel the cold. I'm not bad, actually, yeah. It might be Patrick's turn to get a cup of tea, though. That's the thing about it. Or is it? No, Jenny did it. Yeah, Patrick, your turn. Because I'm going to put my coat on in a minute, because it is getting quite cool down here. But we've got to keep an eye on what Michael Dunlop's doing on that R6, the spare bike.
Absolutely. He's through Ramsey and he's on a par with the fastest lap of the week so far in the Supersport, which is by Davy Todd at 125.601. Michael Dunlop is right on that pace. So Michael Dunlop from a standing start is on pace on that first lap on the Yamaha, having switched from the Triumph. Although the Triumph is still here, he could easily switch back. What a luxury to have. 2 Superbikes, 23 and 24, and 2 of the top spec Supersport machines on the grid.
Yeah, he's certainly not hard done by, but we just had the joy of getting some really good footage of Michael on that Supersport bike, and it looks like poetry in motion. He's jumped straight back onto it. He looks really at ease. You can see in his body language, and yeah, he looked really comfortable on the bike straight away. He even had a little cheeky look round at Ramsey Herpin, just in case he might be giving anybody a tow or any free information, so that wasn't going to get given away for free. But yeah, he looks good, and he's on the pace.
Maybe you should have bought the McAdoo Super Twin as well and compare that to the pattern.
Yeah, he could do. We could actually just give him a little rear view mirror to see him looking around, because he seems worried about giving out any information.
News on John McGuinness. We understand that he has stopped at Signpost Corner, so everything's A-OK with John, just that he's stopped at Signpost Corner, and he'll be able to make his way back from there. John's knowledge of the Isle of Man is as good as any of ours, I think, and we live here, so John will make his way back, no problem from there. So on the climb of the mountain then, we have Mikey Evans first on the road in this Super Sport session, then Mike Brown, and then Michael Dunlop. So it's Evans, Brown, and Dunlop on the climb of the mountain. Dunlop then is into Ramsey in 11 minutes and 9.4. Jamie Coward is 4 seconds or so down on that time in 11.13. Then Paul Jordan is another 10 seconds behind that, almost 9.5 seconds anyway, 11.23. Then Mike Brown in 11.28. Mikey Evans is 5th fastest as far as Ramsey. Then Brian McCormack and Julian Trummer. So Coward is up there in almost every class here, Lee. This could be, I mean, he missed out on a TT win by next to nothing a few years ago, but this could be a breakthrough week for Jamie.
Yeah, and I like to see it. He lives really close to me. He's known my wife for a very long time, and we know the whole family and everything. So he's a good guy, and he's in a really good team. I know people like to question him and say, is he going to move up to a more factory team or whatever? But I don't think people realize how good that team that Jamie Coward is in. They're well enough funded. They're not afraid to spend that money. They buy good bikes, and they've got good staff in there. So, yeah, they're making the most of it, and I would love to see him win a TT. He was complaining the other night about the bike being a little bit nervous, and he said earlier on that the Superstock bike, I'll not rephrase what he just said, but, yeah, it was a little bit nervous and not doing what he wanted. But Jamie is a bigger frame lad, and he's not afraid to grab a hold of that thing. So hopefully we can get the setting right and get him up there at the front.
We've got plenty of time on this session. It's due to run through to 8:05 before we get the sidecars away. People on the bigger bikes finishing their laps. Michael Rutter on the BMW, 123.854. Dean Harrison has got a lap in on the Stocker, 129.226. Ian Hutchinson, who we've just seen go out on the Superstock, he's literally rolled in off the Stocker, where he's done 124.242, down on what we might expect, and he's out there on the Super Sport. Nathan Harrison's completed a lap on the Stocker as well, 126.919. James Hillier, 126.79.
Yeah, although it is good to see Dean out there on that Superstock bike, he's got a lot of time on that bike. They spent the whole Northwest over there with no Superbike, so what he really needs right now is to be out there on that Superbike. Obviously, the biggest difference, it's got yokes, forks, brakes, linkage, swing arms. With these bikes, although they might look quite similar in the bodywork and stuff, it's a very, very different animal. So, yeah, if I know Dean well, he would want to be out there right now on that Superbike, getting time on it.
The Super Stock time that you've just completed puts him in 4th place on the night, just behind Connor Cummins, who's now 3rd fastest on the Super Stock. So that's more encouraging for Connor.
Yeah, definitely a good step. He's done 2 laps now on the Super Stock bike. So, yeah, good. Still don't know why he was out a bit late there. I don't know if Chris and the guys down there can maybe grab someone at Pad just to see what the situation was, or if there was a bike problem or what happened. But yeah, it was rather strange not to see Connor out to well into the middle of that session. So yeah, he's obviously going really well, and we want to see him at the front.
Michael Dunlop through the bungalow on the Super Sport machine. He's nudging up towards 126 type pace. This is potentially the fastest Super Sport lap of the week that we will see from Michael Dunlop. He's, as you say, 3rd on the road, but he's got plenty of clear space. I think Evans and Brown got away a little bit ahead of him, so he's got a perfectly clear road to use here, Lee.
Yeah, I think we're just watching the screen there as Peter Hickman came through on him. Yeah, it's Are we going to get down to Davy Todd to see the guys? He's on our screen. I don't know if the guys are going to grab him down there for an interview. No, oh sorry, TV, my bad. We're on the wrong station. But yeah, he's going really, really strong, and that's what we want to see.
Super Twins are through the bungalow. Pierre Evian, Joe Yeardsley and Baz Ferber all through the bungalow. It's Pierre Evian who is quickest by 20 seconds from Joe Yeardsley and Baz Ferber, but there are other riders to come there. Mark Colvin, Mike Russell, Francesco Coringa, Gareth Arnold and Andy McLean amongst those on the climb of the mountain as Michael Dunlop makes it to Crognamona, and that's again a quick sector time again on the run down the mountain. It's definitely on this 126 type pace. We'll see what it is. He'll be less than a minute before he crosses the line here, but he's on that 126 type pace. The fastest lap of the week so far, 125.6 by Davy Todd. So he's certainly set to eclipse that as we look, and the eyes peel down towards Glencrutchy Road, and we look for the MD Racing machine to come flying down. Of course, this is his first lap. Here he is he? No, that's who's that for? Mikey Evans finishing. Then Mike Brown. Now we wait for Dunlop. Here he comes. Let's get the time. Straight on as well, I think. He's doing a 2-lap run. 126.034 it is, as we thought. Right on that 126 pace, the fastest Supersport lap of the week so far for Michael Dunlop on the Yamaha. Switch from the Triumph to the Yamaha, goes to the top of the timesheets, 126.034, 17 minutes 57.7 is a bit quicker. Yeah, Mike Brown's 18 minutes 22, Mikey Evans 18.29. And then we've got Rob Hodson just crossing as well, 122.342. Paul Jordan completes at 123.485. He's carried on as well as we get Davy Todd about to leave here on his Supersport machine. Will he know what Michael Dunlop's just done? Probably not. It might not have come in time. We'll get him going down. He's trundling down the pit lane right now. It's Davy Todd. You can hear him behind us on that Power Toolmate Ducati. And there we go. He accelerates away. Big look over his shoulders to make sure no traffic's coming. All part and parcel of being here at the TT League.
Yeah, we can hear that big Ducati go down pit lane, and obviously with the pit lane limiter that these guys have to run, with it being a big twin, it jerks and bounces around like a lot more than you would see a 4-cylinder motorbike. But yeah, could we put this down to a successful test for Michael Dunlop, jumping back onto the R6 straight to the top of the time machine? Should we say this is going to be the bike he's going to race, or are we going back to the Triumph?
I don't think you can say anything with Michael Dunlop, can you? He will make his own mind up, and that will be that. Let's get down to Chris Kinley.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in a quick word if I can with the Burrows Engineering by RK Racing. John Burrows, team boss, team principal, team maker. John Burrows, how are you? How's Dom gone tonight?
Like descriptions there, Chris.
You like it?
He's done grand. We had a bit of a problem there in the first lap. He actually lost an E-slider, so and then he had to come in, and we couldn't get an E-slider. He didn't have one, so lost a lot of time. Didn't get our third lap on the Superstock bike, but that was the first lap of the Superbike, and albeit it's slightly slower than what we done the night of the Superstock bike. He's happy with the way it's handling, so yeah, all positive. So he's just about to come in here in the 600. We're going to go out for 2 laps in this twin here, so we are. So.
Do you wish you had all this time and stuff when you were riding?
The what, sorry?
I wish you had all this time and stuff in your hand when you were riding.
Exactly, like it's a great job. Like at least we sort of know where they're at and what they're doing. Like.
All right, John, let you get back to the boys. What do you think? There's John Burrows. I think Beth keeping a little eye on Clive Padgett. I know Clive's been making his notes, and bring Jenny Timothy on this as well. Clive has books and books and books of notes, doesn't he, on Beth's mic there? Loads and loads of books.
Yeah, he's Mr. Knowledgeable, isn't he? The years' experience that Clive Padgett's got is just incredible, and the amount of knowledge he has in his database, all the riders that he's worked with as well. So yeah, he's still sat there making notes, and Connor's sat there as well, contemplating.
He is a bit, isn't he? Yeah, I've just tried to catch Connor's eyes a few times, but he just sat there, just making some adjustments to the CBR 600, the Honda. Jamie Coward's also come in as well. Did we get a chat with Jamie before? We did, didn't we? A little bit earlier. Pierre-Yves Bion has also come in as well. Maybe just keep a little layer on, see if we can get hold of Clive, just for maybe chat, because we haven't spoken to Clive yet. Matt Stevenson's also come in after his lap. Also, Mikey Evans has also come in. There's a gap in here somewhere. See if we can grab a word with Miggy if I can. Just get through the little gap here. And he's just talking about suspension changes again. A few 1 or 2 changes on the Triumph. Looks like they're just refueling. I'm going to go back out again and quick chat if you can. Mikey, how was that bike not handling well?
No, not terrible. I mean, it's 600, so it's controllable compared to the big bikes. But yeah, just fine tuning it, a bit soft on the back, which was causing a few problems. So yeah, try again.
How are you finding the Triumph?
Yeah, loving it. I mean, obviously the Hondas, just jump on them and you could do anything. Put the back wheel on the front, it would still work. But Triumph's a little bit more. I think more to get out with them, but a little bit more setup too.
All right, Mikey, let you go. Refuel. Bet Scott Clive. Thank you.
Yeah, just here with Clive Paget. Lovely to talk to you for the first time, TT 2024. Talk us through your evening.
Yeah, gone okay so far. Connor actually came in on the first lap, to be fair, a little bit of an issue with the shifter blipper, then jumped on his stocker and went out there. I think we've just seen the times, and he's about 4th quickest for the week overall. So, yeah, pretty happy with the stocker. Connor got 3 laps in on his stocker, which is great. He's feeling much more comfortable. Is Ian? Sorry, I think I said Connor there. Yeah, Ian's a lot more comfortable this evening. He needs the laps, you know. Ian's been away for it from some time, and he always expects too much of himself, but that's human nature, and that's Ian. So no, I think looking forward to, you know, a good end of the week with both boys and start racing.
And we were just talking, and Chris Kinney was noticing you writing down all your notes. You've got pages and pages of notes. What's written down there?
How the guys are feeling, what adjustments they may want making to the motorcycles, you know, how the gearing is, how the front's feeling, how the rear shock's feeling. Is it holding a line? Is it shaking its head? Just generally helping them to have a better motorcycle.
You need to release a book, Clive.
Thank you. Ciao.
Yeah, just down here by the Swan Racing Team with Pierre Yves Beyond, who's in here on the Triple Triumph by PHL Performance machine. But it's the twin that he's on. He's just making some adjustments to the suspension on the machine. Just again, Jenny Timmins will bring you in. You've got the mic with Beth there, and he's just saying about the machine. The front is just wobbling around a bit, and he's just making some adjustments, just possibly just backing off the preload on the top. I'm just trying to catch out what he's doing there. He's got the socket in his hands here. He's just winding it out on the top of the forks there, Jen.
Yeah, that'll be the preload adjuster.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you say, they're just taking a little bit of tension off that spring just to allow the spring to absorb the bumps a bit more. Obviously, like you said, from the description there, it sounds like the front's just skipping a little bit over the bump. So they just want the suspension unit to soak up that bump rather than him feeling it through the bars.
Okay, well, he's just taking his gloves off there now, so we'll just jump in and grab a quick chat with him if we can. They're just going to, I think, drop the fairing off the pattern as well, and we'll just jump in. And of course, remember last year we had the description about the Tour de France crash helmet that he's gone on with the King of the Mountain, which is the colour scheme that's on the top of there, and hopefully this is still going to work going in here. He's just watching the TV screen and with the times as well. Yeah, they're deep in the conversation with the times, which is quite an important thing. Peter Hickman's Swan Yamaha is sat alongside us here on the left as well, and he'll be coming in off the Trooper Triumph in a moment or two. I'm going to be jumping out on that, the Northwest 200 winning bike, as we just watched one of the newcomers come through on the screen. I haven't actually seen any of the TV yet, but Pierre, just a moment. He's just shaking his head. The guy's just asking about adjustments and stuff, and he's just again shaking his head and saying, no, this is what we want to do. But it's his conversation with his chaps that he wants to get in. Never mind talking to me. Maybe just now, actually. We'll just try that if we can. Just round the back. No, he's on about suspension. We'll leave him. Yeah, we'll leave him be, because I think that's quite an in-depth conversation. He does not look a very happy man. And Jen, he's just describing there again about the rear of the machine just biting in as well.
Yeah, that might be a tyre issue as well. Like, remember from the Northwest, they did a lot of tweaking with tyre pressures and things. So whether he's feeling something, like you say, at the back end, and maybe both the front and the rear suspension are feeling too hard for him, and maybe he wants to soften the rear as well.
Let's grab a quick chat if we can with the Honda racing rider. Thanks, man, from Douglas in the Isle of Man. Sorry, Nath, just a quick word. Sorry, Harv, I'll just grab him a sec. Nath, good to see you. How was it?
Yeah, great. Just going back out, it's a bit rusty, obviously, missing last year and everything else, but lack of bike time this year from my own fault with a little mishap in Spain and everything else. So, no, just going out, getting a feeling for it, riding around the best track in the world, and just knocking time off every time I go out. Not thinking about time, really, just more getting comfortable every section, every sector, just getting comfortable with the bike, making a few little changes, and everything else will come with that.
Any changes you're going to make for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a little bit. We think it's a little bit soft on the back of the bike, so just to help, it's into the as it's exiting the corners at the minute. As it's hitting the bumps, it's going down too far, and it's like buckarooing me around a little bit. So we're going to try and do a little change on that. Richard from Maxon's got that sorted, and then we'll go out and see what it's like tomorrow, and just hopefully keep chipping away.
Are you getting back to the shop while this is all going on?
No, I need to thank all the boys down there, actually. I went down there yesterday, and then, it was absolutely chaos. And then my dad showed me the cameras today, and he was like, look what it's like down there. So, no, big shout out to all the boys down at H&H. It's mad, but it's great to see, and we want to help all the bikers and the fans on the TT course. Obviously, you don't want to have a bad experience with, obviously, your bike on holiday, so we can help get them back on the road. That's the main thing.
All right, Nate, thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just here with Matt Stevenson, just packing up for the night. How was your evening, Matt?
Yeah, really good, really close to PB. So, yeah, just a couple of tweaks on suspension on Alphabet ZX10, and so far so good, really. Yeah, just building it up steady away.
Obviously, as we're down here, your hair's blowing in the wind, a little bit windy up there in the mountain. How do you find those sort of conditions?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of well, a mile an hour and a half just coming up a mountain you're losing with that kind of wind light. So just got to be a bit cautious with some of them long sweeping corners. Yeah, just makes it a bit more, even more difficult than it already is, really.
Off to have some tea now?
Yeah. Go down to 86 and get some scan down there, yeah.
Enjoy. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks.
Just going to walk up, maybe grab a word with Jamie Kringle if I can. They're just doing some little bits of mucking around on the side of the bike. Yeah, just shaking his head and stuff. Andy Grimshaw and the team from AGM are there. Maybe grab a word. Jamie, how is that? All right?
Yeah, good. Just didn't have a quick shifter for that lap, so just going to try and see if we can get it sorted and get back out.
What's the feeling of the bike like, having only ridden it for the first time the other day?
Yeah, it's completely different to what I'm used to. It's quite hard trying to get used to it, to be honest. Just taking it steady and trying to learn it.
All right, we'll let you get back to the boys. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers. Jamie Kringle. Don't forget, his brother Ryan is also out on the course at the moment. What are we doing time-wise, Boydie, up the top there?
Yeah, we're monitoring this Michael Dunlop lap. It is quicker again. He's 126.5 pace out to Balaf. Balaf to Balaf, 126.549. We're watching as well as we see him coming into school. He's out in the he's right out at the bus stop on the run through Ramsey.
Yeah, do not believe there's any more tarmac left to room out there. But like we spoke about earlier, it's not saying it's easy to do that at all, but there's no risk of the wind down there. You're really sheltered, so he knows exactly what his line is, and he normally runs straight out across the white line again on the
Wait for him at white gate to see how far over the line he is. We'll get him come into shot in just a minute. We're waiting for him. Here he is. Yeah, out over the line. Clips it nicely.
Yeah, he's definitely paid his road tax, so he can use whatever amount of tarmac he wants for that one. But we also seen Dean Harrison just a shot ago as well. I don't know if he's got some mates watching in Ramsey as well. He just put a little leg out to say hello to somebody there.
Speaking of mates, you want to give a shout out to PJ?
Yeah, he's Paul Jordan's going really well, and he's in 4th position right now. Who's my son Jesse's? According to him, he's the fastest motorbike racer in the whole world. So yeah, going really well on that Jackson Racing Honda, and Alan and the whole team. And it's quite a lot of my mechanics, and he's just on the screen right now. First time getting the chance to run the #1 plate, and I know he's been really happy about that. And he's got some really good guys in his corner. Jenny mentioned it earlier that. Roger, my crew chief, was also Jenny's crew chief as well. So he's got 0 people skills, but he definitely knows how to set a motorbike up.
Here he is into Ramsey hairpin, talking through.
Yeah, he looks really good on this new Honda, really comfortable, and you can see it even with his attitude on the bike. It comes through, and when you're content in the team, and the same thing goes for Davy Todd. He can't really praise this TAS team enough. I know they're on a different bike with his toolmate Ducati, but it is pretty much the same guys in there running the whole team on that bike for him.
Well, Davy Todd, of course, is on his standing start lap. So compared to Michael Dunlop's standing start lap, which was the fastest lap of the week so far, 126.114, Davy Todd is into Ramsey in 11 minutes 22. Michael Dunlop was there in 11:08. 14 seconds. That's standing start lap versus standing start lap.
Yeah, he's on a push. I know Davy. We were talking this morning, and he mentioned that the Ducati on the very first lap was really bad. Just not the bike, the handling wise or whatever, but the team worked wonders from the first to the second session on the Monday evening, and he was obviously fastest over there. So, yeah, I don't know what maybe have made another little change now, and it's also hard jumping straight off the big bike. He absolutely loves both that Superbike and the Superstock BMW. So sometimes it's a lot different with it, especially jumping off a 4-cylinder bike onto a twin cylinder. The engine characteristics is different. The engine brake is different. The feeling of that is different. So yeah, it's probably a little bit harder than maybe jumping off a Honda onto an R6.
Someone else who is struggling a little bit comparatively, we're talking sort of 3 or 4 seconds a sector, was Peter Hickman. We noticed over the first 3 sectors, as far as he was sort of 3 4 seconds per sector slower on the Super Sport than Michael Dunlop.
Yeah, we don't know why that is, and I don't know if any of the guys seen down there when he was jumping off the Super Sport bike. He's now going out on that beautiful little Swan Yamaha R7. So I don't know if Chris or Jenny or any of the guys down there seen any hand gestures or what we normally do as riders and try and signal to what the bike was feeling like or what the problems were.
He's now heading out on that beautiful Swan Super Twin machine where he is fastest from Monday. But Beth has David Wrigley, I think.
Yeah, I do. Sitting here smiling, Dave. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, very good.
So we've talked a little bit about the leap from MGP to TT. We said it's felt a little bit frantic in here tonight. How's your evening been?
Yeah, not the best. Unfortunately, the BMW over Blackbridge decided to work something loose, and obviously the power was coming and going, so had to come off curb, subby straight, and then all the way back round, and then just got out for the 600, and yeah, we've got an issue still with the front tyre losing pressure, so it must be a rim issue. So we're going to swap that out and go again tomorrow.
So it's going to be a late night then?
No, it shouldn't be too bad. The boys know what they're doing. So Neil's on it, so I'll leave it in his hands.
Good to see you smiling.
Thank you. See ya.
Just been speaking about tea to Danny Horn from the Daffabet team, because they are, of course, sponsored by Yorkshire Tea. And I'm just... Richard, would you hold that for me for 1 second? Thank you. I'm just going to speak to Mike Russell if we can. Jack, how was that? All right? I've got him mid-eat. I'll get that cup of tea back off Richard as well, because it is quite cold. Milky, chug us that back, mate. Thank you very much. You can have a bit of tea to keep you warm, Rich. There you go. Thank you. There's no such thing as germs on the Isle of Man. Tell you what, could you hold that for me a minute? Thank you very much. Cheers. And we'll do this. Jack, how was that?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. We had a bit of arm pump on the big bike, but we figured out that the levers are a bit tight and the undersuit was a bit tight, and the combination of.
I did see the scissors being worked on your bits and bobs.
Yeah, just to really, as soon as the blood goes into your arm and doesn't release, your forearm pumps up. You can't hold the bars. You can't put the brakes on, and it was horrible on that big bike. So not had it that bad in a long time. So we just got to work on a couple of things. It's new levers, new bits and pieces, but it was nice to get back out. We stripped the arm out, and nice to get back out on the little bike, just to get a bit of confidence. So that bike can be put to bed now. That's qualified, and that gives us a bit of chance to qualify the Sidecar tonight, then big bike again tomorrow, 600 again. So yeah, it's we just worry sometimes that time can get away from us, and before we know it, we're in sort of panic stations to get bikes qualified. So nice to get the Aprilia sorted out. Road lovely. Can't thank Dave Hewson enough for getting that engine refreshed and pulling nice and sweet. So she's ready for racing now.
What do you make of the Aprilias, the 660?
To be fair, Chris, this is absolutely out the crate standard. Other than the Pipeworks exhaust, and Jeff worked hard with designing to get as much pressure out of the standard system as he could.
Just explain what he's done there to get the more pressure out of the system. Just explain that.
To be fair, you're probably better off asking Jeff, but we had a longer can on last year, so obviously longer cans give it a little bit more power, but the thump or the sort of pulsation of the twin engine actually was suffering a little bit. So over Jeff's experience at Pipeworks, he's developed it and worked and found out that a shorter can actually works on the Aprilia, but ours is as box standard as you can get. Standard brake, standard airbox, standard air filter. We have changed the bars this year. We actually ran standard handlebars, but out the crate, I have to say, it's a phenomenal machine. It's as a road bike, you can't, you'll lose your license on it. So it's plenty fast enough. It sounds beautiful. It rides great. I can't honestly thank Fraser Evans and Sons enough for getting me the bike and enabling me to. And I think we got a top 10 on it. 10th and 13th last year. So good finishes on a good bike. So that's what we're aiming for this year.
All right, mate. I'll let you get ready for the Sidecars. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, sir.
Cheers. Thanks.
Michael Dunlop just crosses the line, 126.917, so nudging 127 mile an hour pace for Michael Dunlop. 2-lap run done on the Yamaha, goes top of the timesheets, then pushes it up by nearly a whole mile an hour.
Yeah, going on my current record of facts being wrong, I'm going to say he's definitely going to pick the Yamaha R6 to race on next week.
It's a bold call at this start. Dean Harrison has a lap on as well, 122.855. Ian Hutchinson, 120.066. Patrick Hoff, one of our newcomers, he's out there on the Superstock giving dispensation to run in this session just to get laps on the board because he doesn't have a Super Sport or a Super Twin. He's up over 117, Lee. He was up over 115 on Monday. He's now 117.226.
Yeah, that's really impressive. And it's really good by the organisation to let the guy out there in the class rather than just say, no, this is the rules. He's obviously a newcomer. He's running well within or underneath the speeds of the guys in the Super Sport bikes, so he's putting absolutely nobody at risk, and he's getting out there and getting his lap times in. So, yeah, really good by every call all round.
Let's try to give you an idea of where we are then with the Super Sport and the Super Twin times. Michael Dunlop, who we see now on the screen, he looks relatively happy, actually pretty composed, doesn't he? He's talking away to the team, but all looks well.
Yeah, he's currently talking to his Triumph technician about his Yamaha R6, so that's a good fact to see on the television. But yeah, obviously, Shirt's in there who runs the Honda team for him. I think he uses the same crew chief for all the bikes, and it obviously makes sense to do that, even though they're in different teams and different partners in the team and things like that. So yeah, he looks really relaxed and content as what we can see so far this week. And why shouldn't he? He's fast on everything that he's gone out on so far.
5 laps, I think, in the bank tonight, maybe already.
Yeah, he's going to be in the physio tent again in the morning, isn't he?
Absolutely. That hand maybe not doing too badly. 126.917, 17 minutes 50.2 tops the way on the Super Sports. Jamie Coward is second fastest, just 10.5 seconds slower, 125.674. Lots of guys, though, are out on laps. Davy Todd pulling a massive wheelie over the top of Crosby Hill.
That is really impressive. We're just getting a look at Michael again from that was from the first time round. So yeah, the bike, he jumped both wheels off the ground and the wind caught it and just tilted it a little bit of an angle. It's just when the both wheels come down again and then sets it into a little bit of tank slapper. But yeah, he definitely didn't roll out of the throttle with that one.
He didn't. Lots of laps going on. Davy Todd third fastest at the Super Sports. Then Paul Jordan has dropped to fourth now, but that's still a really good time by Paul Jordan. Peter Hickman fifth fastest. Then Mike Brown in sixth, seventh to 10th. Dean Harrison, Davo Johnson, Mikey Evans and Rob Hodson will come back with the Super Twin times as Michael is now getting set to go out on the pattern. We'll get down to Beth, who's got Sean Anderson.
Yeah, just walking out of Parc Fermé here with Sean. How's your evening been?
A little bit testing, I would say. So big bikes were working pretty well. I can't really complain. It's all a little bit of history repeating itself because TT23, we had a wardrobe malfunction and we had a bit of a helmet issue this evening. We had a bit of steaming and I just need a new helmet, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly is causing that. So we had a bit of visibility issue in the first bit, and then last year the gear lever fell off on the 600 at Ramsey, and this year the gear lever fell off at Ramsey. So the good thing is it set us up for a really good race week. So I'm trying to see the positive side that all these things happened last year and somehow we haven't learned anything, but they led to good things. So we'll hope for good things next week.
Do you know, when I saw you the other day, you had a big bag of Haribo. It looks like you need one now.
Yeah, I need to go and throw my toys out of the pram and sulk like a teenager and just be nasty. And then someone will give me some Haribo and then I'll cheer up a bit.
Hope you have a good evening, Sean, and get it sorted.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Going to have a quick chat with Gary Ryan from the Michael Dunlop Racing Team. Gaz, how is he? How's the form?
Yeah, he's a good form there now. 2 laps on the Superbike, 2 laps on the 600 there, all going well. So do a lap here now on the Super Twin and see how he gets on.
That are 6 laps, 2 laps at pretty good speed out of the box.
Yeah, and I'd say conditions were better the other night than they are this evening. It's quite cold out there and it's windy, so yeah, probably could have been a bit more if the conditions were a bit better. But look, he's happy enough. We just have to make a call on it now next day or two.
Big smiles I can see from his face as well.
Yeah. No, all's good. Yeah, see how we go.
Good lad. Cheers. Thank you very much. Nice to get the word for Michael, which we'll try and grab him when he comes back in nearly at the end of this session. Chris Boyd.
Absolutely, another minute or so only to go before the gate is due to close, but Michael Dunlop did get out on the pattern. So do we think Paul Jordan got out on the Yamaha. It is Mike Brown, though, that leads the way on the Aprilia. Aprilia's not a bad machine, that Lee Johnson.
Yeah, it's been developed by someone really intelligent. Unfortunately, it's not been fit to be used this year. But yeah, we're just saying that Paul Jordan got out there on that R7. I don't think him or Josh Brooks have done a lap yet. I think both of them R7s broke down or blew up or whatever on Monday evening. So yeah, this will be the first lap for them. Also the first lap for Michael Dunlop because he broke down and had to get brought back on Monday night as well.
Absolutely. We tried to watch those times as well, just to give you the top 6 in the Super Twins as we stand. Lots of people out on laps at the moment. Mike Brown leads the way from Pierre-Yves Bion. Joe Yeardsley is third fastest on the night, then Michael Russell, Baz Ferber and Michael Rutter. But Chris Kinley, what do you got for us?
Well, Mike Brown has actually coming off one Aprilia and jumped onto a different Aprilia. So he's gone from one bike to the T-bike, the spare bike, whatever you want to call it. You just said about Baz Ferber, third or fourth quickest. Was that Boydie, was it?
Sorry, say that again, Chris.
Baz Ferber was what position?
Fifth fastest.
Fifth quickest tonight. Baz, happy?
I don't know what I did, to be fair. So
Give us the speed in me ears, Boydie, and I'll relay it to him, all right?
14.277.
114.277, Barry Ferber.
A few mistakes. It's windy out there, and coming up the mountain on the uphill, it blew me offline, and I was heading for the grass at one point. But I'm happy enough with that. We made a few changes, and the bike felt better. Need to put it all together in a decent lap, really.
Is that you done for tonight?
Yeah, that's it now. We missed the cut-off for the 6th, so never mind. We did what we needed to do tonight, so yeah.
Happy with it? Completely happy with it? One of the guys you just said, I'm happy with it, it goes away.
We've made some suspension changes, so I've got a lot more feeling in the front, but we're going in the right direction, so it can go better now. We can do a bit more, and we'll go better.
Good man, cheers.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Barry. That's Barry Ferber. Good to get his thoughts, Boydie.
So much action happening tonight, loads and loads of laps still going on, and we're about to move into the sidecars, so we're going to take a very short break. We'll be back with sidecar action at TT 2024.
Honda Fireblade, the ultimate super sport bike. Still top of its class, and now with even more engine refinements and technical advancements, including twin-motor throttle bottles to aid cornering, entry and exit control, new aerodynamics to improve downforce, increased power and torque, lower in the rev range, and improved riding position for road comfort. New era, new ride, new Fireblade at honda.co.uk.
For the safety of everyone, there is a no-fly zone for all drones within 1,000 meters of the mountain course, with riders and helicopters traveling around the island at high speeds. There is zero tolerance with drones. Large fines, court appearances, and equipment seized and destroyed. If you're over for the TT, don't ruin your trip and put everyone at risk. Stay safe and leave the drone at home.
When it comes to head protection, RI strives for the ultimate, with incremental design and protection improvements introduced to the range year on year. RI not only research and improve on the management of impact energy, RI also produces rounder, smoother, stronger outer shells to enhance glancing off performance. For the ultimate in impact absorption and glancing off technology, combined with comfort and 5-year warranty, visit the RI Village behind the grandstand. RI, because what we protect is priceless.
Empower your ride with Motul. Innovators for 170 years, Motul presents the next generation of oils. Engine 5 and Engine 7 use a unique regeneration process, offering the most sustainable lubricant solution, with performance that betters the equivalent traditionally produced oils. Track or road, trust Motul to give you the optimum solution. Visit the Motul shop at the grandstand to find the perfect lubricant for your motorbike, car, and now your bicycle as well. Motul, official lubricant partner to the Isle of Man TT.
Lots happening here at the TT Grandstand in qualifying session 2 on Wednesday night at TT 2024. Rob Hodson has just gone to the top of the Super Twin class on the SMT racing pattern. He's put in a lap of 19:09.5. It's about 9/10 of a second quicker than that Mike Brown lap, 118.163 for Rob Hodson. Lee's just about done for the night. We're going to say cheerio to Lee and thank you very much for all your work tonight. Absolutely brilliant. And we brought Patrick up to come out of the cold to come and run the sidecars with us.
Yeah, I don't want to rub it in too much for Chris, but it is a lot warmer up here than it is out there.
Well, let's get down to Chris, ready for the start of the sidecar session.
He'll let him off because you went and bought the tea. Thank you, Patrick. Good stuff up there too. The number 2 outfit, Pete Founds. Jevon Walmsley 15 seconds ago before the start on Sidecar. Q2 115.5 for those guys on Monday evening. They've got the number 3 outfit of Ryan and Callum Crowe. Now, did you watch the TV pictures the other night? Did you see what was going on out there? Did you catch that Pat Ferrance as we go away? Did you catch that bit of horseplay between the two, do you think? Or are they just having a bit of fun?
Yeah, no, I think there was a genuine bit of niggle there. I've not managed to catch Pete's version of it, but there was definitely a niggle there. I think I don't think he was expected to be caught quite so quickly by Ryan, and maybe caught him unawares. But yeah, he definitely tried getting it back straight away.
Ryan Crowe, Callum Crowe are away. Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau go away. Ryan and Callum did 116.6 the other night. Ben and Birchall and Kevin did 115.88. Tim Reeves is next with Mark Wilkes. 4th quickest for the number 4 outfit, 113.597. No lap for Dave Molyneux the other night. Jake Roberts, I think it was Quarterbridge. I think it was pretty early on, but he gets away on the number 5 machine. Number 6 is next. No lap for this guy either. John Holden and Frank Clays. They'll be looking for a lap this evening. Carl Cox Motorsport on the side of that machine. Steve and Matty Ramsden are next. They're 6th quickest in qualifying so far from Monday at 110.313. And they get the outfit away. The rear wheel spin, quite dusty on the exit of pit lane as well. Number 8 is Lee Crawford, Scott Hardy. They also stopped the other night. They were in the holding area here for a long time. Didn't get a lap the other night. Number 9, Lewis Blackstock, Patrick Rosney, 109.557 for Lewis and Patrick. Number 10 is next to go, Alan Founds, and the newcomer passenger, Rhys Gibbons, their 5th quickest overall at 110.492. The names of all the people who've sponsored them are on the side of the Team Founds outfit. Number 11, the newcomers, Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, 109.554. That lap gets them 9th position in qualifying. Number 12 is next to go, Daryl Gibson, Tom Christie, 7th quickest for the number 12 outfit at 110.199. Nice and sedate away from Daryl there. 14, the Ireson outfit of Conrad Harrison and Ashley Moore. Conrad didn't get a time the other night. He'll be able to better that this evening on the Fleet Painting Limited machine. 15 is next, joint support sponsor, the Greg Lambert Sidecar School. All the contact details are there. Go and see Greg in the paddock and he'll point you in the right direction. No lap for Greg the other night, unfortunately. Number 16, that's Wayne Lockie and Matthew Rostron, 102.749 for the red, white and black outfit on Monday evening. 18 is next to go, John Saunders and James Saunders. They did a good lap the other night and a quick chat with them at the end there. 105.62. I think the quickest he said was about 109. Number 19 is next, Dan Knight, Ben Hughes, 10th quickest overall so far at 107.884. They get the 19 outfit away. Green Ant Racing on the back of that machine. 20, Sean Chandler, Ben Chandler, 13th quickest at 105.438. And the White Rose Racing machine heads down pit lane. 17, Gary Gibson, Justin Sharp, 15th quickest so far at 102.737. 3 minutes and 3 seconds into the session. We'll get back to Chris Boyd in a couple of minutes for them through Glen Helen, lap 1, Q2. 22 is next. Mike Russell and Vicky Cook. Just had a quick chat with Mike there, 106.683. Number 30 is next, newcomer pairing. 21st quickest, Robert Dawson, Matt Sims, 96.058. 23 is next, Derek Lynch, Anthony McDonald. They're 18th quickest so far, just under the ton at 99.994. We'll take number 24 away. We don't want to miss this first split. Alan Thomas and Jody James, 17th quickest on Monday evening, 101.108. Numbers 25 and 26, Robert Hancock, Basil Bevan and Andy King and Andy Sixworth next. But we don't want to miss Glen Helen, lap 1.
Thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, we're waiting for them to arrive. While we wait for them to arrive, we can report that Jamie Coward has gone to the top of the timesheets in the Super Twins. He's gone at 119.285, so he's put a whole mile an hour on that Rob Hodgson lap that was slightly quicker than Mike Brown. So Jamie Coward leads the Super Twins, 119.285, but Michael Dunlop is still out there on a lap, as are one or two others, so we'll just see how that comes. We're waiting for the sidecars. We can certainly see they're through Ballacrane and they're on the run up towards Glen Helen and out through the newly named Rutters. That is at Glen Helen 1, the run into Glen Helen that has been named after the Rutter family, Michael and Tony. Fantastic. We pick up the Birchall, actually, I think it is. As we see lots of tree cover here, Patrick, and the light is certainly dropping, isn't it?
Yeah, the conditions for the sidecars will be a lot better than last night. There's a bit of cloud cover, so they said that there's a lot of strobing coming in from that side of the island. And I was speaking to the guys, and the track on Monday when they went for the first practice, it was really dusty. So I think that the sun was sort of glinting off the dust in the air, and it was just sort of exasperating how bad it actually was.
Patrick Hoff now up over 118 miles an hour, the newcomer on the Superstock BMW, 118.839. Absolutely fantastic stuff from him, as we do now get outfits into Glen Helen. Ryan Crowe and Callum Crowe are the fastest. They are there in 4 minutes 49. Pete Founds and Jevan Wormsley, 4:51.9 of the two that are through so far, as the Birchalls make their way up towards Glen Helen. Here we are, we see them through now. That bike does look rock solid on the road, doesn't it?
It does all that. Although it just can't see that. It just hit a bit of patch of water there and just got a bit out of shape. But Ryan Crowe and Callum Crowe, they set off behind Peter Found, so they've gained 2 seconds. So when they set off 10 seconds apart. So he's actually only 8 seconds behind him on the road now. So he's sort of reeling him in, and he'd caught him by Ballacrane yesterday. So it's a much faster start this today by Pete Founds and Jevan Wormsley.
We're just going to see a replay off this Birchall moment. As you say, there is just water just on the exit, literally on the exit, as they start the climb up the hill towards Lamfell, and they just hit that water and it just squirreled away, hasn't it? Kevin's held on tight there.
Yeah, they've patched in up going up Glen Helen, and the sort of the seam in the middle of the road and the water table must still be really quite high, because I've had a lot of rainfall over recent times, and it seems to be coming through the crack in the middle of the road where the tarmac maybe hasn't been sealed together correctly.
Chris is with Patrick Hoff. What a laugh that was.
Yeah, going to try and grab him now as he walks down to his team. And just before he goes away, Patrick, just a wee quick word on Radio TT.
Yeah.
Well done. Brilliant stuff. Nice and steady.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to increase my speed step by step. But yeah, now I have to find just the line. I think I know where I am every time. It's just a line now, you know. You have to feel where the bumps are, because then you can stand up, especially at some extreme bumpy parts. But yeah, it's so nice riding here. I was a little bit afraid because in the mountains now it was really, really dark, and I thought maybe it starts to rain, but no one was waving a flag, so I tried, I said, let's go another lap. And this was nice now with half the fuel in the tank now.
Yeah,
the bike is feeling so nice. It's crazy. It's just flying.
And Milky giving you some good advice when you came in? Milky speaking to you?
Always. I'm always speaking to him. Also yesterday and the day before. We also did a round on Saturday. It's just always coming to my mind what he said, because I watched his onboards and everything, stuff like this. And it's always in your head, you know. It's so nice. The preparation really, is, I don't know how to say. I'm making profit of it now.
Yeah, you're making progress.
Yeah, progress. Yeah.
Good to see you smiling. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Well done, Patrick. Well done, guys. Brilliant stuff. And speaking of people from a faraway land, Veronica Hankotsiova is with Beth.
She certainly is, and sporting these fantastic Wonder Women Racing Team leathers. Veronica, you've made the move from MGP to TT. How is your week going so far?
Yeah, to be honest, you know, when I got the entry form accepted, it was a big surprise for me because I didn't expect that, you know. So I was, in one hand, very happy, but in the other one, I said, oh my God, now a lot of work coming, you know. So I'm not sure if I'm fast enough, you know, for a TT, but I'm happy that I'm part of it.
Tell us about your team.
Wonder Woman Racing Team, because I would like to support, you know, more women, you know, in the racing, especially in Czech Republic, but, you know, not only there, but I got this, you know, because I have two teammates, you know, also girls and mechanics and everybody in the team. Of course, here is my boyfriend and other people, but the main team is from women's. And I supported not only racers, because I'm in cooperation with a school in Czech, which is teaching, you know, mechanics. So I got from that school, you know, mechanics, girls mechanics. So I'm trying to support all women in the sport.
And how have you found it out there doing your first few laps?
I have to say that first lap was, you know, very difficult because I had the Bronco, you know, set up of a suspension, and we had a lot of work because, you know, after the last race, my last race was in Czech, you know, 2 weeks ago. I fell off, I blew up the engine. So we have a lot of work here, you know, we come, you know, with the engine, you know, swap engine, everything to the dyno, just, you know, a lot of, you know, stuff to do. But finally I'm here and it's good.
And physically, you feeling okay? Your body feeling all right?
Yeah, I have to say that after my crash, in Czech, my back still hurt a little bit, but I have the airbag system in my leather suite, so I'm all right. And I have to say I feel okay, so happy now.
And you look amazing, Veronica. Great to talk to you.
Thank you so much, and hopefully I will get to the race. That's my main target now.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Davy, Todd is in off his machine. He's just jumped off the Ducati there now. We'll just jump in if we can in a second. And maybe grab a word with Peter Hickman on the Swan Yamaha. He's just looking at times and stuff, and don't want to get deep into the conversation. If we can, Paul Jordan also in as well. Pete, just a wee quick word. Happy birthday to your mum as well.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yesterday already.
I know, yeah. No, happy enough. Yeah, not too bad. Bit of a problem with the Superbike initially, just handling wise. So I came straight in, went back out on the stocker. Stocker feels like the normal stocker, easy enough. And then went back out on Superbike and felt much better again. So yeah, a bit more like my bike again, rather than it taking me for a ride, I could take it for a ride. So yeah, Super Sport felt okay, and then Super Twin, yeah, again felt pretty good. So happy enough. Conditions again not great, but hey, at least we've all got a load of laps in.
Lots of laps in. I noticed when the Superbike came in, Darren, the team boss, and all the team, they're all hands on. But Jenny just noticed they dropped the forks just a little bit.
Yeah.
Jenny don't miss much, does she?
Yeah, we went one way and then it made it worse, so we went back the other way. Yeah, we're just fine tuning really, only like little bits, but it's amazing how much of a big difference it makes. Even before the top of St. Ninians on the first lap, I knew it was wrong. So, and then you got 37 miles to go before you can go and put it right again, or at least have a go at putting it right. But yeah, I'm happy enough.
Went okay?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm not sure quite how fast I went on it, but yeah, felt pretty good. Again, a few little tweaks. Need to do a few more, but overall, yeah, pretty happy on it.
I think second quickest thing I've just been told. So
yeah, happy enough.
Okay, good man. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Peter. Cheers. There we go. The quick chat there with Peter Hickman. Good stuff. He's happy. He's relaxed. He's chilled. He is. Back to you, boys. Let's keep an eye on these sidecars.
Second fastest on the Super Twins tonight for Peter Hickman, but we wait for Michael Dunlop to complete his lap, which should be any second. The Crows are back with Founds on the road.
Yeah, the Crows have caught the Founds on the road and gone through Sulby Speed Trap at 157.53 miles an hour. So that's another couple of miles on what they did yesterday. And that's quite astounding. That's 9 miles an hour faster than Founds and Walmsley, and then Blackstock Rosney 148.43 in third, 147.945 for Crawford and Hardy. So they're a good 9 mile an hour. This is a new generation Honda CBR 600 that they've got, and they've added all the modifications that the Birchells have had over the last number of years, like laying the engine right down, and that enables Callum to get lower in the bike and a bit more slipstream, and it is definitely paying off to have that sort of speed through the speed trap.
Both Founds and the Crows running the passenger wheel over the pavement at Whitegate as we see Ben Birchall coming up through Ramsey.
Yeah, the driver can just sort of turn in and just turn in maybe a little bit harder than you would normally. It'll just lift the sidecar wheel, even if the passenger's out. It'll just sort of lift it and feather it over that curb. But yeah, it's perfect form, really.
The Crows' pace to Ramsey is 117.5 type pace on a standing start lap.
Yeah, and like we said, the conditions are not 100% perfect out there. There's still damp patches around the circuit, although like Lee alluded before, it looks like the wind has really died down for this session, so that's definitely beneficial for these guys.
Let's bring you a little bit. Let's see. Michael Dunlop, we think, has just crossed the line on the pattern. He has 117.344, which will put him sixth fastest. So I think he's probably rolled that off because the sector times were looking good earlier on. So Jamie Coward will be fastest on the night on the Super Twins from Peter Hickman and Mike Brown. But back to the sidecars at Ramsey. Ryan and Callum Crowe, then we know, are absolutely champing at the bit here. They're through Ramsey in 11 minutes 53.4. That is 7.5 seconds quicker than Founds and Walmsley, hence they caught them on the road. They're about 2 seconds behind them on the road. Birchall and Rousseau are there in 12 minutes 10. They're just building lap on lap, aren't they, Patrick?
Yeah, but Ben's quite an astute character. He'll not go out and there and knowing what Kevin's not done before around here, so he'll go and build it up gently. But to be honest, it's still pretty fast lap times. Ben would often come here and never lap really over 110 mile an hour, and then this is when the lap record was 116, and then come race day, he'd just knock it up to 116. So he's always sort of been one to sort of build things up slowly, and he knows that's what he's got to do. He can't sort of have any mishaps or sort of put Kevin off such early.
We can see Callum Crowe just lying as flat as possible up the mountain mile, hanging right out the back of the machine.
Yeah, Callum, for me, I mean, I went round and told him this yesterday. For me, I've been around sidecars all my life, and Callum...
There's the pass. They now lead on the road, the Crows, on this practice lap. They've gone past Founds at the end of the mountain mile.
Yeah, that was a clean manoeuvre, and that was just power up the mountain mile, like 9 mile an hour. You're soon going to catch somebody. But Callum Crowe, for me, if any passengers are watching, he'd be the one for me at the minute to sort of try and emulate his style and his positioning and the way he works on the bike. He's the best probably that I've quite possibly ever seen. There's like him, Tom Birchall, and they're sort of been a class of their own for the last number of years.
We'll watch them as they come through the bungalow. But Beth, how's Julian Trummer? Maybe.
It's Chris with Julian Trummer. Actually.
Oh, Chris, sorry.
Yeah. I'm just watching your man from Coventry, Keith from Coventry. You brought Dean Harrison back early on. Tell you what, I'm being usurped on interviews by Dave Hewson here. What's going on here? Julian Trummer, how are you out on the Obsession Engineering Twin? How was that?
Good fun. Enjoyed that one. Been a long time since I was on the Twin, so a bit different. Kind of like slow-mo compared to the Superbike. So no, it was good fun. Enjoyed myself.
Any changes to make or happy?
Oh yeah, a couple of things. It's pretty slow turning and a bit too long geared, but felt really good other than that. Just trying to get into it again.
And the Jackson Racing bike's okay? Happy?
Yeah, perfectly fine. Superbike feels mega. It's just me. I'm always like it's the same story each year. I'm kind of like slowly getting into it, and I just build my confidence first. And once I'm confident, then I'll hopefully can crack on a bit more.
Okay, Julian, let you go. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, thanks
for your time. Cheers, Julian Trummer there on the Twin. He is in. How's the Sidecar boys getting on, Boydie?
Founds is not giving this up. He is literally line of stern right in the slipstream of the Crow boys, who are on 118.2 pace to the bungalow. They're upping this pace sector by sector here, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, when you follow somebody, you set off 10 seconds behind, and if you can sort of see them when you come out of Union Mills up in the distance there, you've gained a second or two, and it's sort of a carrot in front of you. And because the Crows have got this extra speed through the speed trap and in the engine, it's just sort of, it can drag you up to the person in front of you, and it sort of spurs you on. So they're making full advantage of this and pulled right up to the back and past them. And but like you say, Founds is sticking with them and he's right on them, and he's not going to let them go.
Not giving it up at all, and it's all in the mind as much as anything, especially after what happened the other night.
Yeah, it all seems quite calm at the minute, though. They're just sort of following each other line of stern. But we'll have to see. But yeah, we've got Lee Crawford, as I've just noticed, he's bumped up to 4th place in the standings at Ramsey, and he's only a number of seconds behind sort of Ben Birchall and Kevin Russo. So he's had a real good run because he had sort of a disastrous first night where he didn't actually get to complete a lap, and he's missed a year in 2023, and in 2022 it wasn't that great for him. He only got sort of half a dozen laps in, if that, in total. So Lee Crawford having a real good run there.
Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement there through the bungalow as well. So too, Dave Molyneux, who looks like he's going to get a lap on the board. Hopefully he hit trouble on Monday, but Molly and Jake Roberts are through the bungalow. Let's get an idea of the times at the bungalow as we still watch Crow and Founds heading down the mountain. We'll get them next to Cronknamona. Crows then lead the way at the bungalow by 9 seconds from Founds and Walmsley, and that was time. In fact, it must be slightly more than that. It must be about 11 seconds because they've overtaken them on the road. Birchall and Rousseau are 12 seconds down on Founds. Then Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy, as Patrick says, are 4th fastest to the bungalow. Then Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes, Lewis Blackstock and Patrick Rosney. Then Alan Founds and Rhys Gibbons going very well as well. Then Molly and Jake Roberts as we now get them at Cronknamona. So let's get an indication of that split as we put that in. That's quick as well, that sector time as well. 4 seconds quicker than we were on Monday. This is going to be up around 118.6 type pace we're looking at now for the Crows. They're laying down an absolute marker here.
They are indeed, but like Alan Founds and Rhys Gibbons, like Rhys Gibbons is a novice passenger around here, so he's sort of given him a bit of time on Monday to get some laps in at a steady pace, but he's going at a real good pace here, and he seems to be managing really well to be doing that only on his 3rd or 4th ever lap.
They're into the nook then. We can see Ryan and Callum, and Founds is not giving this up at all. He is literally right behind him as they hit the braking zone, get the bike a little bit sideways to get it round Governor's Bridge.
Yeah, but don't forget he's 120 mile an hour man round here, so he's not going to give it up. You know, he came here with hopes of winning. It's just that with Crows having that engine speed advantage at the start of the circuit, where most of the courses.
Here we go. The Crows cross the line with Founds right behind them. Are they both carrying on? No, the Crows are coming in. Founds has carried on for a second lap, but the Crows are coming in. It's 118.814.
That's their fastest ever lap, and that was from a standing start. So things are looking really good. And honestly, this is like the second night of practice, and the conditions are far from ideal out there. So a brilliant, brilliant lap there by the Crow boys.
Yeah, we could see the mist is dropping in a little bit over the mountain. It's still at a fairly high level at the moment, so hopefully we'll be okay to get this second lap in for the Sidecars. Founds and Warms then 117.837.
But apart from the wind taking the wind away, these conditions are actually perfect for your engine running sweet. At the cooler conditions, it'll help the fueling of the bike and just give that extra boost down the straights.
Birchall and Rousseau carry on for a second lap, 116.398 for them. So they're stepping it up, aren't they?
Yeah, they're stepping it up, and that's he wasn't going to go out and do anything daft straight away. He was always going to build it up, and that's an amazing lap time by Kevin Rousseau there.
Absolutely fantastic. That'll be his quickest potentially lap round the TT Cup.
Yeah, 114 before that, and not forgetting he's not actually completed a race lap, so that was done in a practice session a couple of years ago as well.
We can see the Crow boys are in straight away. There's feedback going on here, and but there's lots and lots of smiley faces as well.
Yeah, big slaps on the back there. They'll be happy with that, because I'm not sure if they knew the time. I don't know if they have it on data logging on the dash, but we can see the boys there. They look ecstatic with that. They'll be over the moon, and it's a real good base to work from.
I don't know if Chris or any of the guys are down there, because they have actually stopped in an area where we can get to them to interview. The other night, they all went straight down into the paddock. Chris, are you around at all?
I am. I'm going to grab him now. That big Derby smile. Wow, well done. That's cracking.
Mega lap that. It didn't feel like that, Chris, honestly. I thought I was going to come back and get the same time as I got at practice last night.
Outfit solid. You and Founds having a good battle on the road again, but how does it feel? The wind's a bit buffery in places, maybe?
Yeah, it is buffery, yeah, but it's like Glen Helen. You got to be careful around that, because it
slippy
lets you go, but get some of that in you.
When it's put you in a good place, you're going to go back out, or are you done?
I don't know. I might try it tomorrow, to be honest with you. I'm quite happy with that.
All right, we'll let you get to TV. They want to speak to you as well. Well done, Ryan. Well done, Callum. Good stuff by the boys. More outfits have crossed the line as well. And interesting as well, Pat Ferrant, straight away, Richard from Maxton Suspension, because he deals with the sidecars, not just the solo boys, was straight in to speak to them. And he was giving them, just nodded his head and said, yeah, all good.
Yeah, they'll have done lots of development work, Richard from Maxton, he's brilliant. He's here giving service to all the solo boys, but the service is equal in the sidecars, and most of the top guys out there are all running on Maxton suspension, but he's sort of a brilliant technician, and he helps in any way he can. And if the guys have got any problems or development work, he's straight back to his workshop, and nothing's ever too much trouble for them.
A completed lap for Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy, and also a completed lap for Dave Molyneux as well. Do you have those times for us, Boydie, please?
Just bring them in, yeah. As we pick up, we'll be busy looking at the Todd and Todd Ellis Emmanuel comment 110 over 110, 110.83. Founds and Gibbons 112.105. Ramsden's 109.359 and Lewis Blackstock 112.522. So yeah, Chris, the times are definitely going up tonight.
Just trying to keep a little eye on the Dave Molyneux time as well, 110.2 for Dave. That's pretty good as well. He'd be happy with that. And of course, just in with us as well is Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy. Don't actually have a time. Oh, yes, they did fourth quickest, 112.9. I think that's possibly Lee's quickest lap. I think he might have gone quicker in his first year, I think. But anyway, Dave Molyneux went. No adjustments just been made. Just getting some fuel on board. Tim Reeves has come in with Mark Wilkes, and they're just taking the fairing off the outfit, the shell on the outside of it, and they're just having a little look at some possibly gearing. But again, like you say, Pat Ferrant, he was straight in. Richard from Action was straight in as well. And straight away, Tim Reeves just maybe put his hands down as if the thing was I'm going to say it properly, bottoming out too quick is what I kind of read that as. What would you relay that to, Pat Ferrant?
Yeah, so if he bottoming out too quick, it might have not enough damping on the suspension, or his springs might be too light. But don't forget, these guys are running an unknown with these tyres. The sidewalls of these new Hoosier tyres are quite a lot softer than what they've ever been used to before. So what the boys were saying after the Monday night practice, what seems to be happening, they're coming to the corners, and it's almost like the sidewalls are sort of giving in a little bit and sort of rolling on the edges of the tyres. So it's sort of giving a false feeling through the suspension. So it's all brand new for the guys, and they've sort of got to try and work out whether it's actually the tyres that are giving the feeling or the suspension.
Yeah, and also Steve and Matty Ramsden have just come in as well, and they've just been doing exactly what you've just been describing there. The thing just not tracking the way that they want it round the corners, just running a little bit wide. So we'll let them have the conversation. It's quite important that they do this. Jake Roberts has come in, obviously, in the past year for Dave Molyneux there, and he's just taken, he had like an underskin layer on underneath his leathers, just obviously keep him comfy, keep him warm, whatever it is, just to compress the body, and that is just, he just ripped that off, doesn't want it anymore. But I'm going to go and have a quick word with Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy if we can. Their outfit's being led away. Maybe just grab Lee. He's just going to go back to his missus, just have a quick chat and just chuck over the lid to the missus. Can we have a quick word, Bonnie lad? You all right? Sorry, finished up. You all right? How was that?
Yeah, not bad actually. That's the first proper lap we've done so far. It's weird when you get out of Glen Helen, it's all new territory for us this week. So there were some sections I was really happy with, and as the lap kind of calms down, my familiarity with it is a little bit all over. So one lap, had a look at something, need to make some changes. So that'll be us for today.
How are you finding the new Hoosier tyres? How are you finding it? A few people are finding a few issues. Well, not with the tyres, just the way the outfit feels.
Again, first lap we've done, so you can tell the setup's a little bit too stiff for here. Coming through the AK tree, knocked the shit out of me. But yeah, good, not bad. What was the lap time?
Just give me the lap time in my ears, or Jenny Timber's got it there. Jen's got all the details for you. She is all the details. Fourth quickest, 112.987. Happy enough? I did think that was your best.
Yeah, good. Yeah, well, we took the last part of the lap there quite steady, with knowing that we had a bit of an issue. So yeah, good. That.
There you go, back to you, Jim. Thanks for your time, buddy. Cheers. Yeah, interesting. Pat France will bring you back in again, being our sidecar pundit on that. What I'm saying about the thing just kind of knocking itself in knots a little bit. Explain that, because that bit before the catering there, very bumpy and very narrow. There's not much room for error, is there?
No, there isn't. It's very bumpy. And like we've alluded on before, these sidecars have only got sort of 30 or 40 mil suspension. So it's hard because you need to try and balance between taking the squash up in the sort of sidewall of the tyre. And it's a complete unknown. But if you have your front suspension too hard, it can sort of knock the bars a bit and sort of flick it through your hands, and then it becomes really patchy on the road. Like you're skipping off every bump, and it can be quite unnerving and daunting because you have such little travel, and you can easily sort of skip sort of 2 or 3 foot either side of the road from where you want to be.
Number 5, Dave Molyneux, Jake Roberts is just headed out as well. Well, maybe if we can just grab a word with Matty Ramsden in a sec, if we can. He's just speaking to Richard, who's like me, a gentleman of a certain age, has got to wear glasses now as well. We'll grab Richard if we can. Sorry, Rich. You're like me, Rich, aren't you? We're all getting older, aren't we? Good to see you, Rich. Nice to see you. Matty and Steve. Matty first off. Steve, happy is he? Never happy, is he?
Not after tonight, no.
What happened?
The bike's just unstable everywhere. All the right fast kinks. It's like dipping on the chair. And it's the wrong compound chair, what we've got in it. Everybody else has got the harder tyres, so we're just using up what we've got, and it's just completely, it's not right. It's not nice. It's dipping all the time, and the back end's coming up, and like it were when we started at Croft, it's just all over the place.
What can you do to alleviate that? Anything?
Mainly tyres. We'll swap the tyres. Maybe go slightly softer on the rear. It's trial and error in it round here. New tyres, it's all a different ball game, isn't it? So it's hard work.
All right, we'll let you get back in. Sorry about jumping into the conversation with you, Rich. Cheers. Thank you very much for that. And Richard, apologies. Nice to see you, buddy, by the way. Yeah, good stuff. So, Jen, I'm sorry, Pat, I'm going to bring in on this one as well. Pat, interesting what you're saying. Can you relay that from to a spectator point of view, if you don't mind, what he was mentioning about how the outfit was behaving?
Yeah, so it's like I said before. So the sidewall of the tyres, because all the weight of the sidecar is being pushed through that, all the right-hand flicks, all the weight of the sidecar, the driver, the passenger, the whole thing, all leans on the sidecar tyre. And because these are such softer sidewall tyres that they've used before, they run them at low PSI really as well. So they're all about 20 PSI. And the sidewalls are sort of collapsing, but then when the collapses sort of gather up and pick themselves up, so it sort of releases the back wheel, and then the back wheel spins up, and the whole thing goes sideways, and you haven't got much control, and it's really not a nice feeling. But there's two compounds of Sidecar tyre. So you've got a harder tyre and a softer tyre. And it sounds like Matty and Steve there have got the softer tyre in, but they have to run the harder tyre, I think, by the sounds of it, but that's an extra inch wider as well, rather than being 7-inch. It's an 8-inch tyre. So everybody's in the same boat, with this, and everybody's got to sort of go with it and work with it. But it compromises the whole sort of setup of the bike.
Do you talk about the difference of the widths of the tyres as well? Will that affect the suspension on it as well for the wider tyre?
No, because there's no suspension on the Sidecar wheel.
I'm saying, overall, will it affect it from the Sidecar side to the main part of the Sidecar, if you want to call it that, or does that have no bearing on what that side does?
Well, that has got a bearing, because if the Sidecar tyre's sort of letting go and then gripping again and letting go, it's like it'll make the rear break away and not let the suspension do its job on the rear. But if you can get it into a nice drift or a slide by holding that Sidecar wheel, you can use your rear suspension a little bit better, and you can make it track the road more.
Derek Lynch and Anthony McDonald are in. They did 99.994 the other night. I wonder if they have improved tonight. Just have a little look there. Hey, that wind is quite... You could probably just pick it up on the microphone, to be fair. Just can't find their laptop time at the moment. It'll come back to us. Just waiting for Beth, who's going to have a quick chat with Mike Russell in a minute, who's just obviously got Vicky Cook with them there, and they've just done their lap also. They've done 105.75. Vicky Cook's with Beth.
She certainly is. Vicky's smiling. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. It was nice to get back out after last night's delay. So, yeah, really, really good. Nice, steady session there just to get us back in the groove, give me a little bit of confidence back. And I'm just trying to teach Jack classical music rather than heavy metal, as Milky would say. So, yeah, all good.
How do you find the sort of communicating as you're going round? How is that for you?
There is no communication, really. We had a bit of a communication issue on Monday night that's now being ironed out. And, yeah, it's all good. We're just re-gelling again here. It's not like short circuit racing, is it? So particularly with Jack competing in all the classes, he needs to get solo head out and Sidecar head on, and it's no mean feat, really, is it? So
no, really tough. And in terms of conditions out there, it's still a little bit windy.
Yeah, it is. It is windy, particularly at the mountain windy corner. That was really windy, but otherwise everywhere's pretty good. To be fair, visibility is quite good as well. So
good to see you with a smile on your face, Vicky.
Thank you. Cheers.
He's jumped to the other side. What's he doing? Is he allowed on that side? Sorry. He's just got on the other side. Oh, heck yeah. Don't be doing that. Yeah. I think he's kind of burnt himself. Anyway, listen, I've been told that young Birchall and young Rousseau are actually on a mission on this second lap, Chris Boyd. Is that correct?
Absolutely. They've gone through Glen Helen in 4 minutes 44. This is a second lap, a flying lap, but to put into comparison, that lap of the Crows, they were there in 4:49. So they're 4.5 seconds quicker on the run out to Glen Helen. In fact, they've just made it to Ramsey on this lap. Let's get them. They have definitely upped the pace this time, haven't they, Patrick?
They have indeed, and it was always going to come, but I'm really surprised it's come this early. And you can see there we've just got the speed trap times through Sulby Straight, and Ben and Kevin are up to 153.425 there. So just three miles an hour down now on the Crow boys, where it was 9 before. So maybe just had a sort of steadier run through Quarry Bends and onto Sulby Straight on the lap before.
They're on the quickest lap of the week. The Crows were out through Ramsey Hairpin in 11:53.4. Obviously, that was a standing start lap. This is a flying lap, but Ben and Kevin are there in 11:52.7. So almost a second, about 9/10 of a second quicker.
Yeah, throwing down a real marker of their intent here. I mean, it was always going to be a matter of time. But Kevin must be super happy on the bike, and he must have just told Ben just to sort of go out and do his normal thing, which is what he would have done with Ben on the side.
One other thing that we do want to pick up from that opening lap is Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. Emmanuel Clement is already only 2.5 seconds off being the fastest ever female passenger around the TT course. That's held by Melanie Farnier at the moment.
It is, and that was the sort of 5th and 6th ever lap that they've done. And these guys are here on stock motors. They run in the World Championships, and the regulations for that are standard engines. And rather than going for the first year of all the expense of getting tuned engines and something completely different from what they run all year round, they've just brought their World Championship engine. So that's an even better feat for them for that, really.
Yeah, if they get that, then the Melanie Farnier in 2022 went round in 20 minutes 23.0. That opening standing start lap for Ellis and Clement, our world champions, was 20:25.5. So literally 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, and I said it on Monday night as well. They're not world champions for nothing. They've only been racing for a number of years. Todd started in 2017, and Emmanuel started in 2016. They've been partnered up for 3 years now, and they've got 2 World Championships and 2 British Championships under the belt, and they've come here hitting the ground running, full of confidence, and it's showing why they are world champions.
3 outfits then through Ramsey on this second lap. Birchall and Rousseau lead the way, 11 minutes 52.5. Founds and Walmsley 11:58.3. So that's just under 6 seconds, about 5.8 seconds down on Birchall and Rousseau. Lewis Blackstock and Patrick Rosley, third fastest of the 3 outfits through. We'll drop back to Balaf just to see if we can get any more outfits we can. They are the top 3 actually at Balaf as well. Birchall, Founds, Blackstock. Then Alan Founds and Rhys Gibbons, 4 fastest on this lap out through Balaf. Then Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, who I guess will be going quicker. We'll try and get their times, and they may well unofficially break that record on this very lap. Tim Reeves and Mark Wilk, 6th fastest on this lap out as far as Balaf. And we're hearing that Founds and Walmsley have stopped on this lap out at Waterworks. So, that is a shame. They don't want to be hitting trouble, do they?
No, they don't, and it's another setback, but hopefully nothing too serious, and they'll get back, regroup, and then have another go tomorrow. That's all them guys can do for now.
Absolutely. As we pick up Todd and Clement, they are through Ramsey now as well, so we'll get an idea on them. But now the attention switches to Birchall and Rousseau. They will be second on the road. Founds and Walmsley, they will pass Founds and Walmsley, stopped at the Waterworks. In fact, we pick up Birchall and Rousseau at the bungalow. They're about to make it to the bungalow, so we should get their sector time into there any moment. You can see that the conditions look okay, actually. It's relatively high, that cloud cover, isn't it?
Yeah, it sort of seemed to come down about 10-15 minutes ago, but it seems to have risen now, but it's definitely getting darker out there. But at least there's no sunshine for them to going on the start of the circuit, because it really is troublesome. So the guys will get a nice, good run and without any hindrance.
Something's revving very loudly outside, Chris Kinley.
Yeah, Sidecars going out. Derek Lynch and Anthony McDonald first off. That machine you can hear in the background with the number 7 on is the replica of the 1939 senior TT winning bike. George Meyer, the BMW. Peter Hickman is going to be giving that a bit of a run in a minute. The original of that machine is in the FHO awning down there in the paddock. So if you want to go and see a little bit of history from the 1939 TT, this is a replica of it. We're going to be hearing this thing going through in a minute. It sounds absolutely awesome. And do you know what? That cloud of smoke when the thing fired up. Not going to get too close because it is very, very loud. I'm probably about 30 yards away from it here, and I can actually feel the ground shaking a little bit. So it is a replica of that BMW that's going to be going out. But back to the modern stuff. What's going on with the boys up the front?
The Birchalls are on 118 plus pace. We know that the Crows did that 118.814. Well, the Birchalls have upped it to 118 type pace as far as the bungalow. They're on the run across the mountain and down to Cronknamona. But yeah, they're there.
This is like the second night of practice, and it's already looking like it's going to be a 3-horse race up the front, and all them boys are not going to be far off lap record pace. And to be doing them on the second, to be doing them in general is like an unbelievable feat. But on the second night of practice, when the conditions are not 100% perfect, they're still sort of trying to get the head around these tyres and how it's affecting the handling of the bike. It's looking like it's going to be a red-hot contest.
Only that one outfit through the bungalow at the moment, which is Birchall and Rousseau, as we pick them up on the screen here now. And how's Kevin looking in the back?
Yeah, he's looking amazing, but he's currently leading the World Championship with his regular driver, Harry Payne, who's a Manxman, an honorary Manxman. So he's leading the World Championship with him. So he's coming into here full of confidence and red-hot form, and he's just proving why Ben's picked him and chose him for this task of the TT.
Through Ramsey, it was the Birchalls from Founds and Walmsley, who we know stopped just up the road at Waterworks. Lewis Blackstock and Patrick Rosney are therefore second fastest of those still going on this second lap. Then Ellis and Clement are third fastest. Founds and Gibbons, then Wayne Lockie and Matthew Rostrom of those out on this second lap. As we see the Birchalls now, they're into Signpost Corner. It'll not be long before they're here. We've got Peter Hickman as well. We're going to try and get him away with Chris Kinley if we can. Let's just get an indication. Yeah, they're still on that 118 type pace for the Birchalls, and they will get a chance to come across the line. There's no short flagging at the end of this sidecar session. The checkered flag will probably come out. I can see the checkered flag in the hands on the finish line. So they will be getting that as they come through. They would be doing a 2-lap run anyway, and that would be them for the night, wouldn't it, Patrick?
Yeah, it would. I'd imagine that they'd only ever go for a 2-lap run. Generally, people don't go for 3-lap runs. If you go out first, and like I said before, if you lap about 114 mile an hour, and got off first, you could do 3 laps.
They're on to Glenfutchie Road. You can hear the wind up of the engine. Here they come. 118.271 for Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau. So they go second quickest on the night behind the Crows.
Yeah, I'm going to go and give Kevin's hand a shake after this, because that's quite phenomenal. He never got much running in 2022, and he's come straight in here. And to fill Tom Boots, the amount of pressure that's on that man's back, it's quite immense. But he seems to be like, whenever you see him in the paddock, he's just chilled and relaxed, and he's taking it all in his stride. And fair play, that's quite an awesome feat. That.
We'll see if Chris or Beth can get hold of them as they come back up. They might head straight down into the paddock, but we also want to try and get Peter Hickman away. One or two of the outfits that have hit trouble. John Saunders, he stopped out at the Glen Helen car park. We've now got Founds pops up at Waterworks. Maria Costello didn't get very far either. She only got as far as Quarterbridge. Can you see them coming up the return lane, Chris?
Well, I'm actually up on the road trying to get this BMW. I know Beth is down there, and I think they are just returning, and Jim and all the guys, the Birchall team, gone straight down as well, which is a bit unfortunate. They want to get down to their thing and get warm, to be fair. Jim's even had to put a hat on tonight. He said, it's that cold. I says, yeah, but you've got a hat on, but you're wearing shorts. What you doing? Who's next on the road, Boydie? We got about, in fact, that is the end of the session. We'll go back to you, Chris Boyd.
Yeah, we do seem to have red flags just being displayed here at the grandstand, and we can see on the live stream as well, red flags up at Ramsey Hairpin by the looks of it, and it sounds like that Peter Hickman bike has been switched off. So we will obviously await further news from race control, but the electronic boards here that we have at the grandstand and around the course will be showing red, and we certainly do have, we certainly have a red flag on show here. They did have the checkered flag ready to go out, and obviously the one outfit will have seen that. So obviously there will be no further outfits coming down to finish, which would be a shame for Todd and Clement, who would have been on course to break unofficially that record straight away. But it's going to be coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be coming. They've come here, they've hit the ground running. They've obviously done the homework. They've come especially prepared. But Todd is the stepson of Gary Bryan, who's sort of he's been coming to the TT for a number of years, so he knows what it takes to come around here and finish and get results. He's finished in the top 10 numerous times, so it's not like he's coming here totally blind. He knows the preparation that he needs to do through Gary, and he's actually been coming to the Isle of Man to watch the TT since about 1999, I think. So he's no novice to the Isle of Man, but obviously just riding round here. But yeah, Emmanuelle, she's amazing. When you see her, she's only very, very slight, and to be able to do what she does and hold on, and to be strong enough to do what she does, going at the speed they do, she's an amazing woman.
Well, Chris Hindley, obviously we've got a red flag. We don't know what the red flag is for. We haven't had an update as yet from race control, but it's been a hot and heavy night of action anyway, hasn't it?
It has. We said on the line just when we got up there about 6:10, which seems ages ago now, that it was all nice and chilled. However, when they got in here, Beth Espy, it wasn't. It was frantic, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and understandably so. There was a mixed practice session yesterday, people keen to get as many laps in as possible, and I think we talked about the fact that the teams need to get all that information dialed in. People want to get back out there again, so there's a lot happening.
Certainly was. And Jenny Timothy, your final thoughts, if I can get the teeth out, of this evening's session.
Yeah, it's been really great. The conditions are not ideal. It's been windy, and there has been a few damp patches on the course as well, but David Todd and the top guys are in the 130s, and they just seem to be able to do them at will, don't they? It's super impressive with not completely ideal conditions. So yeah, we're in for a good few sessions left this week, aren't we?
Yeah, we certainly are. And of course, the Sidecar boys, the Crow doing 118, the Birchall and Rousseau doing 118 as well. All sets up a good TT 2024. Back to you, Chris Boyd, from down in a very cold Park Ferme.
Absolutely, go and get yourselves warm. Fantastic night's work from the team down there. Chris Kinley, Jenny Tinmouth, Beth Espy, Patrick Ferrance as well, who is down with them and is up with us here now. Obviously, we have no further news at the moment on this red flag situation. Some of the timing, if you're watching the timing screens, they get taken down when there is a red flag, so you will not be able to see any of the times. Some of the times that we had notes on from earlier on the evening, Davy Todd on the BMW, the Motorrad BMW, the Milwaukee machine, quickest on the night, 131.821, 17 minutes 10.992. Michael Dunlop on the 2024 spec Hawk Honda, 131.729, although on the sector times he was slightly quicker than Todd as he went round. He sort of rolled it off towards the end of the lap, and there was only a tenth of a second or so between them. 17 minutes 11.1 against 17:10.9 for Davy Todd. Third fastest on the Superbikes, Peter Hickman on the FHO BMW, 130.804. Then fourth fastest on the Superbikes on the night, John McGuinness on the Honda UK Honda, 129.269 for John. Josh Brooks on the sister bike to Peter Hickman, the FHO machine, 129.205, and Davy Johnson, 128.348. On the super stock machines, it was Davy Todd who was fastest, 130.439. And that is how many seconds quicker? About 5.5 seconds quicker than Peter Hickman on BMW versus BMW, 129.723. Connor Cummins, third fastest of the super stocks on the night, so that's really encouraging for Connor on the Malenko by Paget's Honda, 129.286. Dean Harrison, fourth fastest, 129.226. Jamie Coward, fifth, 128.844. James Hillier, 128.3, and Philip Crow, 127.958. On the Super Sports, we know it was that lap of Michael Dunlop, the second lap on the Yamaha, having switched off the Triumph onto the Yamaha. Although he's got both bikes here, there's by no means certain that he'll be on the Yamaha. Lee Johnston thinks he will be now after doing 126.9, which was backing up 126 mile an hour opening lap from a standing start. Jamie Coward, second fastest, 125.674. Then it was Davy Todd. And then as we try to just get our notes in order, Davy Todd was, who was next? It was Paul Jordan was in there, I think, as well. Oh, it becomes difficult with so much having gone on. Michael Dunlop, then Jamie Coward, then Davy Todd. Yeah, they were the top three on the Super Sports. Then it was Dean Harrison, fourth fastest on the Honda. Paul Jordan, fifth fastest. And then sixth, and Peter Hickman, seventh, Mike Brown, eighth, Davy Johnson. See if we can pull up the Super Twins as well from what we have. Fastest on the night was Jamie Coward, 119.285. Peter Hickman on the Swan machine, 118.851, very late on in the session. Then Mike Brown, 118.650. Fourth fastest, Rob Hodgson. Fifth fastest, Dominic Herberton, and Michael Dunlop completed that late lap on the pattern, sixth fastest of the Super Twins. And then, as we just know, on the sidecars that we've just had, and obviously the session has been red flagged towards the end, it was the Crows with that high 118, but the Birchalls right there with them.
Yeah, what an amazing night session, you know. It's definitely going to be a 3-horse race between Fownes, Walmsley, the Crow brothers, and then the Birchall and the Russo. But all kudos to Kevin there to go out there and do that sort of lap time. Like I alluded before, to come here, you've got all the pressure in the world on you. You know, Tom's like the greatest sidecar passenger that's ever been around here. Ex-world champion, all the rest of it. And, yeah, you know, to come around here, fill his boots, and he's done it on the second night of practice. You know, he's only sort of, what will that be, about 15 seconds off, I think, off the outright lap record. So to come here and do that, it's all kudos to him. I think this night definitely belongs to Kevin Russo, not taking away anything that the Crow boys have done tonight. They did that from a standing start, of course. So it's like they reckon that a standing start to flying lap's about 10 seconds. So, you know, things are looking really positive for both them boys. And Fownes and Walmsley had a sort of mechanical later on in that session. But if they get that together, and they know they can do the pace, so it's definitely looking like a 3-horse race.
And it looks like it could be a tremendous 3-horse race at that.
If them boys keep going in the race and they keep pushing them pace like that, it's going to be an amazing first sidecar race.
Okay, well, we've pretty much run through all of the times that we have for tonight. Tomorrow, Thursday, we were due to close the roads at 6 o'clock again until no later than 9:30. The schedule shows that we will have the sessions as we had tonight: 6:30 Superbike and Super Stock, 7:20 Super Sport and Super Twin, 810 Sidecars, but we'll just see what happens with that schedule order. We'll get that confirmed. There is still this red flag situation out around the course, so the course remains closed. Do not attempt to go onto the TT course until it is fully opened. You'll be able to pick up roads opening information from the new TT WhatsApp group. Join Isle of Man TT on the WhatsApp group, or Simon Quine will bring you news on Manx Radio as we go through the evening of what is happening with the roads. It's been a busy, busy night, and we'll be back tomorrow for more from the TT Grandstand. Good evening.